What's going on, everybody? Welcome in to Blazers Uprise Live. We got NBA Finals coverage, even though I think this series is over. We'll get into that. Also, we recently hit 3,000 subs over on the main channel, so I just want to thank you guys for that. That was a huge milestone that I was trying for so long to reach. It's nice to actually have a 3K instead of a 2.99K under my videos now, so I'm excited for that. What's up, Kevin Reese? What's up, Oscar, Poke Bob, Alvaro, Westbrick? You guys are the real OGs, man. It's been a little light in here lately, but I appreciate you guys coming in and hanging out with us. We're just going to chill for tonight. Stream can go as long as Eric wants it. As long as Eric wants, because I'm not working after. So as long as Eric wants it, we've been recording draft profiles. Those should be dropping soon. I'm going to grind those this weekend and see how far I get. But yeah, we can talk draft. We'll talk finals. We'll talk off-season stuff for you guys. And we'll talk all of that. So let's just talk about the finals first. Let's get this out of the way. So the Lakers won Game 4. Miami was competitive, but this, I feel like, is a deciding win for the Lakers. Simple question. Is this series over?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, sadly. I agree.
I don't see the Lakers losing 3 in a row with that tandem they have.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man. I wanted this to be competitive. I wanted the Heat to pull off the upset, but yeah. So that's very, very frustrating that they couldn't pull out Game 4 considering they were there. But what did I say before Game 4? I said, Bam Adebayo, I don't think he's going to help out their offense as much as people think he's going to. The Heat scored 96 points. The game before that, the Heat had 115. The game before that, the Heat had 114. Right? 114, 115, 96 when Bam comes back. Not saying necessarily that was because of Bam, but the reason they were scoring 114, 115 points a game was because they were, A, getting phenomenal production at Kelly Olynyk, and B, had more spacing for Jimmy Butler because they constantly had a three-point shooting center in either Myers Leonard or Kelly Olynyk. Bring Bam back, you don't have that spacing, and if he doesn't, play amazing, they're probably going to struggle offensively. That's what I was saying before this game, and I feel like it played out that way.
Yeah, I don't know if you can really blame Adebayo for that, like you said, but yeah, their shooters didn't show up either. Mm-hmm. So I think both Crowder and Duncan Robinson both struggled. So,
but in game 3, I mean, Duncan Robinson was 3 for 6. In Game 3, I believe he was 3 for 10. Jay Crowder was 2 for 7, struggling, but in Game 3, I believe he was 2 for 8. So about consistent shooting, I honestly don't think the shooting was much worse. They shot 34%. It wasn't like they were lighting the Nets up in the previous game. They shot 35% the previous game. I think it was more just like in Game 3, Jimmy Butler had 40 points, and he had so much space to work with due to how he always had 4 shooters around him. And you have Game 4, you bring Bam back, and he's not a shooter. He's a really, really good player, but this is what I talk about when I talk about players meshing and coexisting and the way talent meshes. It's like, yeah, he's better than Kelly Olynyk and Myers Leonard, but does he really help out Jimmy Butler if he reduces the amount of space that Jimmy Butler has to work with? It's nice having a lob target, dump-off option like a Bam Adebayo, but you have to wonder, Bam probably wasn't full health. He did shoot 6 for 8, but 15 points, 7 rebounds in 33 minutes. It's not like he lit the world on fire or anything. So, and Jimmy Butler definitely didn't drop 40. He only dropped 22.
I thought it was more the fact that LA switched it up and put Anthony Davis on Jimmy Butler, and I thought that was a great move by Vogel because Anthony Davis played a great game defensively.
Yeah, I mean, I would have liked for them to go bigger. That's what I said they should do. Kelly Olynyk only played 12 minutes after playing phenomenal the previous 2 games. He had 17 on efficient shooting in Game 2. He had 24 on efficient shooting in Game 3. Right? The Lakers go big. If they put Anthony Davis on Jimmy Butler, go big and punish him. Go big and punish them. You know what I mean? You got Kelly Olynyk and Bam Adebayo, right? Who are they going to guard Kelly Olynyk with? Like, I know he's like kind of like a finesse big, but he could still score inside if you put I guess maybe you put like LeBron on him. But like, I don't know, man. I don't know. The thing is, AD played the majority of his minutes at center. Dwight Howard only played 8 minutes. JaVale McGee didn't play. So with Anthony Davis at center, LeBron James at power forward, and you got like Kuzma in there. I don't know. I would have liked for them to maybe play Kelly Olynyk more, one, because he was playing well, and two, maybe just to create some sort of mismatches because the Heat offense just didn't get it done in this game. You held the Lakers to 102 points, which I believe was the lowest amount of points the Lakers scored in this series. It indeed was. So your best defensive outing, and you still can't win. I don't know.
Yeah, it's just so disappointing because think of how exciting this series would be if it was 2-2 right now. The best of 3 series here on out now. It's pretty much over.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a deciding game. A best of 3 and maybe getting Goran Dragic back for Game 5 or Game 6. Like, that would have been interesting, man. I would have loved to have seen it. Just from an entertainment factor. At this point, I am checked out from this series. I'll probably watch bits of the game tomorrow, but like I'd rather go to the gym and shoot around than watch this Game 5. Like, if the Heat win, I will have I'll kind of turn some attention back towards this series, right? 3-2, okay, maybe they could get it done at 3-2, but I don't know, man. I don't think it's possible, and I expect the Lakers to close them out in Game 5. I expect them to win tomorrow.
Yeah, I'll keep an eye on it just because I always like to see, the finality of it and the celebration and stuff. I don't want to watch the Lakers celebrate, but I still like to watch the in game. But yeah, I feel like they're closer than the series has been. It's unfortunate that both Bam and Dragic got hurt in Game 1. I do think if Dragic comes back, it does make a little bit of a difference. They could probably win a game, but I don't think it will matter in terms of them winning the series.
Yeah.
Like people are asking in chat. But, yep.
RIP said Kelly Olynyk played terrible. He only played 12 minutes, man. He barely played. He only played 12 minutes. I can't fault him for that. When he was playing starting level minutes, he was popping off. So I thought he deserved to be more part of the rotation. And I said that before the game. They should play Kelly Olynyk maybe at some 4 next to Bam. But they didn't really like to do that. So Kendrick Nunn played terrible, 2 for 11. That was a guy that really hurt him. 2 for 11, 2 for 6 from the 3-point line. Other than that, like Tyler Hero, 8 for 18, 3 for 7 from 3, 21 points. Like that was his best game of the finals. Duncan Robinson, 4 for 7 from the field, 3 for 6 from 3, 17 points with 6 for 6 from the free throw line. That was a good game. That's the thing. Like the role players, I don't think were bad. Like Iguodala doesn't really shoot much, just plays defense, fine. Like Kelly Olynyk barely played. Kendrick Nunn sucked, but and Jay Crowder is 2 for 7 from 3. He has to shoot better than that, but I felt like the role players maybe played better in this game than they did last game. They just had Jimmy Butler carry him last game. I don't know.
Yeah, I think we can make that argument.
This is a hard series to figure out, though. Like, this is a hard series to figure out, man. It just doesn't make much. It doesn't make much sense from like Bam coming back and offensively they struggle more to like the way Kelly Olynyk performed, and it just leaves you with questions like maybe they should play Kelly Olynyk over Bam and give Jimmy that extra spacing. Like I don't know. It's a very strange series. It's just hard. It's hard for me to even like analyze it because I have watched a good portion of the series and it's just I don't know, man. I don't know. It's hard to analyze it from the Heat's end. The Lakers have LeBron and AD, and their role players have played better than I expected. So it's pretty clear cut and dry with the Lakers. Their role players have stepped up. I mean, you had 15 from KCP on 6 for 12. Danny Green was 4 for 8 for 10 points. Kyle Kuzma shot the ball well this series. Caruso has had some moments. Rondo has had some moments. So that's the thing. Like, the role players have played better than I expected. So it's clear cut and dry with that. From the Heat's end, it's just like... It's almost like you just got to help Jimmy go off. It's kind of like the Blazers with Dame, man. Like, you got to put Dame in a position to just go off for 40. Because it's like if Jimmy Butler's not scoring 40, they're losing.
I think that's what made putting AD on Jimmy Butler so effective was there's no way like the Heat could have like thought or like planned for that, you know? So like, because you don't think AD, as good as he is defensively, they would put him on like a shooting guard / small forward type player. So they probably went in that game thinking that LeBron was still going to guard Jimmy Butler most of the time, and then but try not to switch as much as they did in Game 3. So yeah, it's just a really good move by Vogel, I thought, and AD played like he basically won that series in that game by his defense in that one.
They just need a second creator, like a perimeter creator. They're missing Dragic. Honestly, I think they were missing Dragic as much as they were missing Bam.
Yeah,
maybe even more because like the bigs, Myers played decent in the limited minutes he got, and Kelly Olynyk played great in games 2 and 3. So it's like those two guys stepped up and replaced Bam's production. But without a Goran Dragic, just that second guy to create better shots for the shooters they have, it just doesn't work as well as it's worked this postseason. So I think they're really missing him. Is he potentially able to play Game 5? Do you know?
They said he's gonna come out ahead of the game and see if he can go.
Just like Game 4.
Yeah, just like Game 4. I don't think he'll be that effective even if he plays. I mean, the margin for error with like moving and being quick enough to guard NBA players or take them off the dribble offensively is so small that if you have an injury like that, it pretty much makes you ineffective no matter how much you can play through the pain.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
But Westbrook was asking if you thought Bam looked injured. I thought he didn't look very good out there.
I didn't watch it hard enough to notice.
Yeah.
You know, like if I was like sitting in front of my TV, like really focusing on that, maybe I would have had an opinion on that. But like, I was like caught bits and pieces of the game. I didn't catch the full game. It was.
One of the evolutions of his game is he's become a lot more smoother of a player, if that makes sense. So like his fluidity and his motions are a lot better than they were coming into the league, and he just didn't seem to move well last game. So.
Yep. What's up, Reese? So other than that, like we don't really got much else to talk about. We'll of course recap game 5 on Monday and game 6 on Monday because game 6 is Sunday, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Actually, I'm not sure they have it because that would be going up against the NFL for a game 6. I don't know if they did that or not, but.
Anime, what the hell are you talking about, man? I can check right now. I don't know what anime is talking about. Welcome to the stream, though.
It's supposed to be a joke or something. He was pumped about his Bears winning tonight.
Yeah, I saw that. 4:30 on Sunday, 4:30 Pacific time. So, honestly, season should probably be over by then. But maybe October 13th you get a Game 7. Which is kind of crazy. October 13th, Game 7 of the finals. Yeah, I don't know, man. A big part of me wants it to be the offseason already. I don't know why. Because it's like, we had that hiatus. And it's just like, oh, I want basketball back. We need basketball back. But at this point, maybe it's just how long the season's gone. I'm just like, I'm ready for this season to just be done at this point. Like... where it's been a year. I don't know if anybody else feels fatigued from how long this one season has gone, but like I'm ready to just move past 2019-2020 season. Like I am just ready. I'm ready for it to be done. Do you feel that way?
I think I saw on Twitter that it was either yesterday or today was 1 year ago to the date where we had our first preseason game. Mm-hmm. That's so crazy. The finals aren't even over yet, and it's been a year since we played a game.
Oh, I know, man. And that's the thing. It's like, just think about like what this channel was a year ago, right? I was streaming off a laptop, right? I didn't even have like your webcam up for for post-game streams. Didn't we still, like, there was a stretch where we were pre-recording our podcasts. I don't know if our podcasts were even live at that point. That's how long ago it was, which is just crazy to think about. Yeah, that's just insane, man. Like, that's how long this season's been. So, we should be getting ready for season number 2 right now. Which is crazy. Like, we should be getting ready for, like, opening night. Let's see Chris Middleton and Nemanja Bjelica. Let's see what they look like. Let's see if Stotts learned anything. But yeah, man, like just you can tell how long ago it was just by how bad my thumbnails were. And that logo, the old room, dude, that's insane, man. That's yeah. So I'm ready for it to be done. I'm over it. I want to move on to the off season. The thing is, there's not going to be much substance until the draft, though. There's no, like, draft combine. I would have loved to watch the draft combine this year.
Well, they had, like, team interviews.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I'm ready for it to be the draft. And then, because when is free agency supposed to be? Do you know?
They haven't announced the exact date, but it was 3 days after the draft initially, so I'm guessing it'll be sometime that middle to late November, with November 18th the draft, so sometime between the 21st and the end of November, I guess.
Okay. They should have free agency before the draft. So, like, you strike out in free agency, you know where your holes are a little bit better, you know, because, like, you've gone through free agency, and then you can address that in the draft. I feel like it would make things simpler. We want to talk about viewership. Anime Jake, the big problem with viewership is illegal streams, and a bunch of kids watch illegal streams. A bunch of young people watch illegal streams. Right. The other problem with that is they don't have a good feel for, like, ratings based off people watching on YouTube TV or, like, streaming services. Hulu, you know, the ratings don't have a good grip for that. So everybody's like, ratings are down. I'm not putting any stock into that.
Dude, you know, did you see what Skip Bayless said yesterday?
What?
He says a lot of dumb things. This might be the dumbest thing he's ever said.
That's saying some.
I know, and I won't retweet it or anything. Like, I'm done giving that guy attention for the most part. But I mean, there's only 14 people in here, so it's not like we're doing anything too crazy. But he said that the Lakers winning this championship hurts Bron's legacy.
Oh, that's BS. There's no point to even talk about that. That's just him being...
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So
that's
dumb.
just his shtick. Like, I saw that and laughed. Like, yeah. Okay.
So like, if he loses to the Heat, that's better for his legacy than winning a championship? Like, shut the...
No,
like,
that would be terrible for his legacy, and winning a championship in this finals is only bad. So, like, just being here is bad for him, apparently. Yeah. But if he missed the finals, that would be really bad for him. So, basically, everything is bad for his legacy. Him existing is just a detriment to his legacy in Skip Bayless' eyes. Yeah, that's ridiculous. So, yeah, I did see that, and I was just rolled my eyes, moved on with my day, because that guy is, you know, it's just a shtick, and it gets some ratings, and it's a good, like, business thing. I will never go that route where I just have a shtick and make up BS and lie and do stuff like that just to get views, you know what I mean? Like, if that was the case, I would be kissing Stotts' ass right now. 100%. Because I've definitely turned off some people because they don't like that. I don't think Stotts is the second coming of Greg Popovich. But yeah, so I don't know. I'll never go that route. You know, I don't really respect it, but it does get him ratings. And he's gone so all in on that being a shtick that, like, of course he's going to tweet something like that out. I'm not surprised by that. So, yeah, I do think people give him a little too much attention, though, when he says stuff like that. Like, that's what he's looking for.
Yeah, I saw a lot of stuff today, like, it's people with shows like this are the reason why um, like so many people are hating on the NBA right now is because like all these shows are just tearing down their stars and like he ripped into Damian Lillard who doesn't really beef with a lot of people. I mean, I know he did with the Clippers, but um like he's a really well liked guy and stuff. It's like
Yeah.
really dumb. It's just
I feel
why
like
why aren't we propping up the game a little
I
more?
feel like people view the way the NBA is covered as just like childish because the way these shows cover it is just childish. The way Skip and Shannon cover the NBA is childish. It's casual. It's like cringy. The way like Colin Cowherd talks about things like these guys cover football, they do a better job. You know what I mean? But the thing is, most football fans, I feel like, aren't watching those shows. They're watching, NFL TV if they're really that diehard or whatnot, or they're just tuning in on Sundays. And I don't know, the coverage of the NFL and NBA just feels different. The NBA feels like a super Twitter oriented thing, and Twitter's a toxic place. NBA Twitter's just a toxic place, and then the way you have these shows talking about it is like LeBron and his legacy versus MJ, and just the type of conversations that are had. It's just ridiculous. Like the type of things that are talked about. It's like 60% Lakers, and it's like a little bit of the Clippers, and touch on the Bucks here and there, touch on the Raptors, but like that's it. And there's just no, I don't know. It's hard to explain, but just it doesn't feel right. And it feels like It feels like it would be a turn off to somebody who isn't a diehard basketball fan. So I mean, maybe the ratings, maybe there is a little bit. There probably is a little bit to it, stuff like that. I don't. They're talking about like 50% decline. I don't think it's that much of a decline. I think it's just other factors, but there definitely is an issue with the way the game is covered and talked about, I feel like.
I do like the NBA and TNT guys, like someone mentioned and Alex mentioned in the chat.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like they do a good job, and I mean, they do have the same like 10 to 12 teams on a lot, but there every once in a while you'll get a random team in there, and they talk about most of the games and different stuff that's happening. So, but I feel like they don't really do it in a toxic way.
Yeah.
Uh,
How does the NBA. Can the NBA fix that? Like, how does the NBA fix that issue?
uh, I don't think they can really. I mean, see, the problem is no one watches the Fox Sports like actual channel, um, like they used to watch ESPN back in the day. So like Skip and Shannon have to do that stuff to get views from like Twitter and um, like people talking about them because not many people are tuning in to watch the actual show. So they have to say stupid stuff so people are like, oh my god, I have to see what he says next about this. Um, but they can't. The NBA can't step in and do anything about that.
Yeah.
But it's a league that's always been the best at promoting their star players. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, like freaking Alex Caruso has like more mentions than a lot of star players do. It's just I don't know. It's
But, like,
weird.
the NFL doesn't suffer from, like, Skip and Shannon doing that in regards to the NFL. You know
Yeah,
what
that's
I
true.
mean? Like, I don't know. Like, what's the difference there? I don't. Maybe honestly, you know what? This is just my guess. The NBA has gone too far in marketing individuals, right? Because when you're talking about the NFL, like they'll talk about individuals, they'll talk about quarterbacks, but a lot of it is like team-based discussion, right? And like players are talked about within the context of the team. Too much about the NBA is players talked about not within the context of their team. How many times have we heard Damian Lillard should go here or here or here? He should leave Portland, like Damian Lillard deserves blah, blah, blah. You never really hear that about NFL players. You'll hear like, oh, Aaron Rodgers deserves better. But like the Packers are 4-0 right now. Nobody's saying anything. It's like nowhere near to the extent in the NFL that is to the NBA. And I think that's due in part because the NBA has prioritized individuals over teams. Therefore, you get super individual based arguments that are based on individual players instead of teams. And when you talk about individual players, you're going to start comparing them. And it's going to be like, oh, LeBron and his legacy versus Jordan. And, it's just Dame go somewhere else. And I don't know. There's probably other examples you could come up with, but I feel like that is the issue. I feel like NBA has gone too far in prioritizing individual stars compared to teams.
Yeah, well, a lot of younger people, I mean, there's a lot of younger people in chat, so maybe they can comment on this, but I know a lot of them, just like a Damian Lillard, and if he got drafted by, say, the Utah Jazz or something, I don't know if they would necessarily be Blazer fans right now. So I kind of see it both ways. But
I think that's due to the NBA though, because how many of these young people are like that with the NFL?
Well, like people mentioned parity in chat, and the NFL's a league where you can go like the Niners were terrible a couple of years ago, and now they were in the Super Bowl last year. Say the Chiefs a few years ago, but how many years in a row did we have? 4 years in a row we had the Cavs and the Warriors in the finals, and you pretty much knew that the Warriors were making the finals unless they had catastrophic injuries, and they had that last year and still made the finals. So I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that those star players ended up like teaming up, because if you had Durant stay in OKC or go to a team that could have competed with Golden State instead of having this team that won 73 games and they add Kevin Durant. I mean, I think that turns a lot of people off to like, why even watch when this team's we know is going to win, and then the first 2 years of that they do win, and the third year they only don't win because of injuries. But
what's crazy to me is that I have people try and tell me super teams are good for the NBA and they're good for ratings, and people want to, that's the best thing you can have for ratings is a super team because everybody's going to watch the Warriors. I don't think, I never ever agreed with that. Casual people maybe, but you shouldn't be all out marketing your league to only casual people. That's the problem, and it shouldn't be set up where like, oh, the diehard fans who are a fan of a team, 29 of the teams are just pissed off because they know the Warriors are gonna go win a championship because they got Kevin Durant and Steph Curry and blah blah blah. But oh, the casual fans, yeah, they'll tune in. Thing is, if you have parity, you can still get casual fans to tune in, right? Like the Super Bowl is the biggest spectacle in American sports. How many casual people tune in not knowing who, you know what I mean? Like, they're not tuning in because it's a super team. They're tuning in because it's the Super Bowl. So it's like, that's just the way it's marketed. Like, the way the NFL markets the Super Bowl and how big that's become is phenomenal for the NFL. The problem is like, you don't have anything like that in the NBA, and you can't really, it's not like one game, right? It's a 7-game series, but like...
See, I think super teams are good if they're organic super teams and if they have rivals that are capable of beating them, but they overcome those rivals, So like the 73-win Warriors, if they don't add Durant, it would have been pretty exciting watching them that next season to see, A, how many games they win in the regular season, and B, if they can get over their devastating loss in the championship. That would have been a really interesting storyline. But then they add Durant, and it's like it becomes not just a super team. It was like a foregone conclusion that they would win the title that year. Like they had no chance of losing. So
let me say this though: if it wasn't for the Lakers, this year would have had more parity than I've ever seen. You consider what happened in the East with Miami coming out of the East. You consider what happened in the West with Denver beating the Clippers, and you take the Lakers out of that picture. Who knows who comes out of the West then? Shoot, maybe it's Portland or so. You know what I mean? Like, that's the thing. But the Lakers are talked about all year ad nauseum. Mm-hmm. They spoiled the parity. They spoiled the parity this year, right? And then it's like, oh, they basically win in 5 in the first round, win in 5 in the second round, win in 5 in the Western Conference Finals. Now I think they're gonna win in 5 in the finals. And like casual fans that aren't biased towards the Lakers or LeBron fans, they're gonna get bored. And like, okay, they're winning 5, cool. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It's not even like that competitive in the finals. I feel like, I don't know. Like, this isn't gonna be a long series. I don't think. You have guys injured. Like, yeah, you can't avoid that. But it's like the Lakers are the league's like cash cow that they milk like crazy, and seeing them just walk their way to a championship is not. It's not like, yeah, there's parity elsewhere, but it's spoiled by the fact that the Lakers are going to walk their way to a championship.
I think it kind of ended with a thud when the Clippers lost too, because everyone was looking forward to the Clippers-Lakers series, and then when that didn't happen, and then like you said, the Lakers take care of the Nuggets pretty easily. So
if it was Nuggets Heat, I feel like there would be more hype around it.
Yeah, I don't know about that, because you wouldn't have the star factor with LeBron and AD.
You'd have the star factor with Tyler Hero. You'd have the star factor with Jimmy Butler. I mean, like, yeah, like the casuals, maybe not, but like diehard basketball fans, bro, like the series would have been competitive. I'd be watching for sure tomorrow if it was Nuggets Heat. Even if like the Nuggets were up 3-1, right? I'd be watching for sure. Wow, the Nuggets with Jokic and Murray, they might win a championship. But like the Lakers, just like, I feel like so many people that are like NBA fans of a team or just fans of the NBA but aren't biased towards the Lakers are just exhausted of how much the Lakers are talked about, how much attention gets paid to them, and then them just walking their way to a championship. Like, I feel like I feel like a lot of real basketball fans are just tired of the Lakers themselves and tired of the LeBron stuff too.
Yeah, but they also hadn't made the playoffs the last 6 years, so it's not like people are tired of them always winning or doing stuff.
It doesn't take 5 years to get tired of how much the league covers the Lakers. They have covered them so much this year, talking about them so much this year, and last year too. Like, I'm tired.
I said, they have LeBron,
yeah, but like that's the problem though, is they market stars a little too much compared to teams. LeBron's a great example. And then the one team that they do market heavy as hell, probably more than all the other teams in the league combined, is the Los Angeles Lakers. So you got LeBron on the Lakers. It's ridiculously bad. So that's just my opinion. I feel like people were just exhausted.
To clarify, I don't want the Lakers to win. Screw the Lakers. I'm not saying I'm fine with them winning or anything. I just don't. I think we're kind of, because they've dominated the playoffs, like all of a sudden it's turned from just a few weeks ago, before the playoffs started, it seemed like it was wide open, and then the Lakers play really well and dominate these series, and now all of a sudden the narrative's turned to like, oh, they had such an easy path, when no one was saying that before the playoffs started, that they had a simple, easy path and that they were for sure going to win it all. So I feel like
the hype going into the playoffs was off the charts. I feel like, right? The problem is it's died down because of how well the Lakers have done.
Yeah,
I don't know. And people
I don't disagree with that.
If the Clippers did that well, it wouldn't have died down quite that much, because people weren't exhausted from the Clippers being overcovered.
Yeah.
Right?
But it's not necessarily the Lakers' fault that the Clippers choked. The Nuggets didn't play well against them. The Bucks didn't end up making it out of the second round. But yeah, that's why I said, like, not getting the Lakers-Clippers series, I think, was the first step in people starting to be like, oh, great. Like, Lakers gotta have it easy because they don't even have to play the Clippers now. So,
but let me say this. If the Blazers beat the Lakers in round one, I feel like there would have been more attention to that second round series. Like, in terms of, maybe not like at the very start of the series, games 1-2, because Houston won the first game, but like, that series probably would have went like 6 or 7. And near the end of that series, game 4, game 5, like, there would have been a lot more attention than like, oh, the Lakers got this, they're up 3-1, and the Houston's playing small and they have no chance, right? Like, it would have been Dame versus Russ. Can Harden finally get to an NBA Finals? Like, you know what I mean? But and then also at the same time, oh wow, the Clippers that's going into a game 7. So you might see Denver. You might see Denver versus like any of these teams could make it to the finals. Like, but with how well the Lakers were playing, it was like, oh, the Lakers are probably gonna run through and make it to the finals. And it was just like not. There was some parity, but it was also like I feel like people have been like, yeah, the Lakers are gonna win it the past month since they got up like 2-1 against Houston. I feel like the feeling has been like, yeah, Lakers got this.
Yeah, but like Alex says, there were 4 7-game series. It's not like it's been completely. I feel like the playoffs overall have been pretty good.
You've had parity in other portions of it, but I feel like the feeling has been like all this parity is just like, Lakers got this. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I feel like that's been the feeling this whole time. And it's like, oh, the Lakers really gonna just. I don't know. That's been my feeling, and maybe that's because I hate the Lakers. But man, it's not fun. It's not fun. Like the playoffs have gotten less and less fun as an NBA fan this year, and now it's at the point where like, oh, I hope they're over. I hope they're over. Like if the Heat can't pull off this comeback, I just hope they're over tomorrow.
I don't know, man. I thought the bubble had some incredible moments, some great playoff games, some great regular season stuff. Yeah,
I'm not saying it didn't.
It's a shame that the ratings were bad, but I mean, there's too much happening in life right now for the ratings to really matter that much. I think it's just a whole outlier this season. I do think that they're definitely going to shift the season around more because it's proving that you do not want to go head-to-head with the NFL.
Pretty obvious, but
yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying there wasn't big moments or good series or anything like that. I'm not saying there isn't. Like all the things that you said, like as if it was contrary to what I was saying. I'm not saying there wasn't. I'm just saying the overall feel.
I'm just talking about general public, but
yeah,
I feel like nothing happened until. Well, the Bucks losing in the second round definitely hurt the East. Even with how good Miami's been, I think people wanted to see, the MVP and see if he can take down the Lakers or whatever. And then when the Clippers lost in the same round, I think that's when it all turned downhill for the NBA. But
I guess I should make my point this way: if the Lakers didn't exist, or if they got beat in round 1, I think it would have been better for the NBA. And everybody tells me, oh, super teams are good. The Lakers are great for the NBA. I think it would have been better for the NBA if the Blazers beat the Lakers in round 1 and created true parity for the first time from round 2 on, from the first time in I can't remember how long.
As much as I agree about that, I don't think many people outside of Portland give a crap about the Blazers. I don't think it would have made it.
Yeah, but it would have been like every storyline, like, oh, what Jamal Murray is doing to bring the Nuggets back against the Clippers, or that type of stuff. Like that would have meant more if for winning the series they got to face a Portland team or an OKC team or a Houston team that's like on even ground with them, compared to like, oh, he's doing all this just to end up facing the Lakers in the Western Conference Finals.
But the entire national media wanted to see the LA teams battle it out. So
yeah, which
if we beat the Blazers, if we beat the Lakers, then people would tune out because they don't get to see the LA teams.
But that goes into the bigger problem with the way the NBA markets itself and the way the Clippers and the Lakers were overcovered. You know what I mean? That's proven.
No way.
That's proven my point.
The Clippers are overcovered?
I mean, they were covered more than any other team other than the Lakers.
Because they were good.
They were good, yeah, but the Nuggets were good too. How much? The Clippers were covered probably 15 times more than the Nuggets this season.
Yeah, but they have Kawhi Leonard who's going for his 3rd championship on 3 different teams, and
that's exactly my problem. That's exactly my point, though.
Okay.
That's exactly my point, though. Is like, I'm not saying they shouldn't be covered or shouldn't be covered a lot, but like every good team should be covered a lot, so that once the playoffs roll around, casual fans actually have an idea of like what of these teams and like some players on the team. So then when Jamal Murray starts going off, they might be like, oh wow, this guy, like I've known who he was. He's playing really good for himself. Like
well, even if you've watched every Jamal Murray game, he's never played like that.
No, I know. I'm just saying, like, if you have more familiarity with like the Nuggets or the Blazers or the Rockets or the Thunder, if you have more familiarity with those teams, you're going to buy in more when storylines start happening with those teams in the playoffs, with like a Jamal Murray or a Dame starts going off, just because you're more familiar with them as a casual fan. How you end up more familiar with them is the NBA needs to push other teams more, and it needs to be less Lakers and Clippers conference finals. That's what we need. Like, it needs to be less geared towards that.
I think that's something that has to be built up over the years. Like, the Nuggets are still a pretty young team. See, back when I was growing up, you had like the Jordan Bulls, who would always lose to the Celtics, and then they'd lose to the Pistons, and they could never get over the hump. But you saw like Jordan and Pippen, okay, is this the year they're going to get over the hump or whatever and finally take down the Pistons? And then when they did, then you had several other teams that were like, oh, are they ever going to take over the Bulls, like the Pacers and stuff like that? But it was almost like a rite of passage where you had to go through the playoffs several years. So I come from more of an old school mindset where like the Nuggets, just that was the first year with this core in the playoffs last year, I think. And they lose in the second round. And then this year they make it to the Western Conference Finals. So now next year, more people would know about them. And if they make a deep run, then people would be like, oh, yeah, that Jamal Murray guy, I remember him from the playoffs last year. And stuff
yeah,
like
but
that.
You don't, like in the NFL, you don't need a team to like repeatedly get into the playoffs and repeatedly make noise in the playoffs for like somebody to have any sort of familiarity with that team. You know what I mean? Like, that's the difference between leagues.
But there's only 16 games in the NFL, and it's like a whole experience. It's not like I mean, the longer seasons tend, like the leagues, the NBA, Major League Baseball, hockey, all those leagues. I mean, there's so many games that just it's a lot harder to pay attention and be as focused as you are as like an all-day experience. Like normally with fans, you'd have the tailgating and you'd have like all the just the whole, like it's a whole day thing. But whereas the NBA is more just like
you have 82 games to build familiarity instead of 16. Do you know what I mean? You have like a bigger sample, even if fans aren't as locked in to singular games or whatever, it's a different experience. I feel like you have more.
But see, like before that happened, before Jordan, and I guess to some extent Larry Bird and Magic Johnson, that's what the NBA did. They just like promoted teams and stuff, and that's when they blew up in the 80s. It was because they were promoting their stars and doing it that way.
I'm not saying they shouldn't promote their stars. I'm saying they need to find a better balance. They need to find a better balance because they don't have a good balance. That's why I say that they're over-promoting individuals. Not that they shouldn't be promoting individuals, that they're over-promoting individuals. You need to create more familiarity with like some of, the third place team in the West, and the fourth place team in the West, and the fifth place team in the West. And then you need parity on top of that, I feel like. And I feel like that would create the best postseason product for diehard fans and casual fans.
But like I said, this was the first year of the Clippers team being this way. They were the darlings last year when they almost beat the Warriors, or not almost, but they challenged the Warriors in the first round. I think they took it to 6 games. And so like people were excited about the potential of a Montrezl Harrell and all that stuff. But
I mean, you still promote that 100%. Yeah.
But like, so yeah, I feel like this year, like I don't know, like everyone was looking forward to that series, and then it didn't happen. So.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying that people shouldn't have, or that they shouldn't have been, that potential matchup shouldn't have been hyped up at all. I'm saying they need to find a better balance. The
problem is, I mean, you have probably close to 20 teams that are absolute garbage and aren't worth watching. So, I mean, you had six teams in the West or in the East this year. I guess you had a little more than so maybe half the teams, but
Yeah, which is like the case in any league, though. Like I don't know, like you had 8 competitive teams in the West, and you had 6 in the East. That's 14 teams.
But like a team like Charlotte or something, or the Washington Wizards, you can't promote those teams.
Oh,
like
I'm not saying
no one gives a crap about. And those are like the 13, 14 teams on that list. So like it's hard to.
Yeah, but like you got 14 good teams in the NBA, and really only 2 get talked about all season long.
I don't feel like that was the case, other than the fact that those 2 teams were really good. But the Bucks were talked about just as much as those 2 teams. The Heat shouldn't have been talked about. I mean, they were the 5th seed. It's not like they blew up or whatever.
Yeah.
But like I said, this season was weird because of the whole
stoppage. How many teams really got talked about then, in your opinion? Out of those 4 teams, how many teams like legitimately got consistently talked about all season long?
Well, the only 3 teams that should have been talked about should have been the Lakers, Clippers, and Bucks in terms of a championship. But
yeah, but that's the problem. Is like, only 3 teams can win a championship, so we're only going to talk about 3 teams all season. Like you got 14 good teams, but the problem is
they talked about all kinds of teams. I mean, Memphis got some run. New Orleans got a ton more run than they should have gotten. Houston got a lot of coverage because they went to the small ball lineup, and everyone wanted to see what that looked like. And
it's like a drop here and there. It's not enough. It's not enough of a balance. I don't think it's enough of a balance. What do you think, Chet?
You can't force people to like teams that aren't interesting.
I'm not saying force people to like teams that aren't interesting. I'm saying consistently cover them more. You don't need to talk about every day. You don't need to talk about for the Lakers for 30 minutes a day, every single day, all throughout the season.
What shows are you watching?
I've been paying attention to all of them.
Okay.
Like, they get recommended in my YouTube feed and whatnot. Like, that's a little bit hyperbole, but, like, Lakers won't play in the next day's show. The Lakers are leading off the show when there's other good NBA games the night before.
But if you owned ESPN, I mean, you don't care about promoting the Denver Nuggets because people don't care.
Yeah, but
so how do you fix that?
I think you got to build familiarity with teams. Like, it might backfire first, but you got to cover more teams. Like, that's the thing, is like, I feel like casual fans, they care about the teams that are always covered, because every now and then they'll tune in and watch a show and pay attention to what's being said. Or they'll, every now and then they'll turn on national television, like Lakers playing, half their games on national TV. I forget how much it was. You know what I mean? Every now and then they'll turn on TNT to watch a basketball game. They don't even know who's playing. But, they're bored and they see basketballs on TNT or something. And it's the Lakers. Like, that's the thing, is it's... You still, obviously, like, the Lakers would still get covered more than any other team. I just think they have to find a better balance, and I think that would be beneficial to the league. I think it might be beneficial to other networks, I don't know. Like, it's a complicated problem with a lot of factors. I just think you have to find a better balance than just, it was basically Kawhi versus LeBron and Clippers versus Lakers all season. That's just pretty much what I saw. And everything else was just like a drop here or there. So, I don't know. That's the ideal league for me. Parity and more, a more consistently covered league as a whole, kind of like how the NFL is. Like, the parity and the way the NFL is covered, I want something similar to that in the NBA. I just think it's completely different. So that's just my opinion. It's a complicated problem. You good?
Yeah, I'm just reading chat.
I think NBA casuals know Dame, Booker, Trae Young. Never said they didn't. Bol got super hyped up.
Yeah, people were turning into Denver to see Bull and MPJ,
Yeah, Bol Bol wasn't
and then
playing.
and then they didn't even play that much. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's. I also can't. I also I'm probably a little biased to prospects that get too hyped up out of high school. They get overhyped. Cause like I was gonna say on Zion. You guys know how I feel about Michael Porter Jr.
And Lamelo.
and LaMelo. But like most of those guys that are overhyped never become anything anyway, right? How many people have you heard? I don't know. Have you guys ever watched like Julian Newman highlights on YouTube and see the comment section about how many people think he's going to the NBA when he can't even make it to D1? You know what I mean? Like it's ridiculous. Mac McClung, future NBA star, like how many YouTube videos did you see titled that for Mac McClung highlights? And everybody knew who he was. It's like, and now he couldn't even stick it at Georgetown, who isn't even a
Well,
March Madness team.
well, you bring up an interesting point though. This is part of the problem too. Is people? I mean, obviously, if you're watching YouTube videos on these guys, that's a specific audience that knows some of these prospects. But majority of the people watching, whether they watch NBA or not, don't know a lot of these young players or don't know who they are. So, like the NFL, they have to be out of high school for 3 years, so you get to see them play college ball. They
Yeah,
might be from your favorite college team or someone like that. So like you get to know teams a lot more or players a lot more, even though you're not as familiar with them because the rosters are so much smaller in the NBA. But the problem is like in the NBA, one guy like a LeBron can make the difference between like the worst roster in the NBA and a championship level roster. So, I mean, did you see the crap he took the Cavs to the first finals with
yeah,
LeBron? Like, so it's hard to like not market that versus be a Cavs fan because when LeBron leaves in 2010, then they're like awful.
yeah.
It's,
I'll say this though. I don't know if Patrick Mahomes didn't have weapons around him and had just like a very mediocre roster. With how good he is, I still feel like they could potentially contend. Like he
yeah,
has good talent around him, so obviously that's not an issue. He has a ton of elite weapons, but like that's like the one guy in the NFL where it's like you put him on a mediocre team, that team is probably contending just because of how damn good Pat Mahomes is. But like it's not
yeah.
like he's not over marketed quite the way LeBron is compared to like his team, you know. Um I don't know. Cuz I still feel like it's like the Chiefs, you know, people know Tyreek Hill, people know Travis Kelce, people know, you know, the guys on that team. I still look at it as the Chiefs, not Pat Mahomes' team. And they look at the Kansas City Chiefs with Pat Mahomes, not Pat Mahomes' team. I feel like with LeBron, it's like, oh, LeBron's team, not the Lakers with LeBron, if that makes sense. Like, it's like LeBron is above whatever team he plays for. With Pat Mahomes isn't, like,
I
above.
think in the NBA though, like you're not wearing a helmet. Like I said, there's only 5 people on the floor versus 11 on each team in the NFL. Like I just feel like there's so much more towards
There's
like
differences.
it's gonna be hard to like ever.
There's differences, but to say, like, the NBA has, like, marketed itself perfectly, I think is a far stretch.
Yeah,
Like, I think they need to learn and try and do a better job. And maybe talk with their broadcasting partners. I don't know how much control they have over that. You know, they have broadcasting deals and whatnot with ESPN. Like, I don't
I
know how
think
much
they're
they can
just worried
control the
about their
conversation.
broadcasting deals moving forward, let alone trying
Oh,
to
for sure. I mean,
control the
you
content
have
or
other
whatever.
issues now, but this has been, in my opinion, it's been a bit of a problem, and it's only going to continue to be a problem. So, um, the thing is, a lot of casual fans are the type to watch illegal streams. I feel like, so they're not even getting anything from them.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I would have respected this opinion a lot more before the playoffs started. I think no one was saying this really about the Lakers, that they had a super easy title and it was going to be boring and stuff like
Well, I
that.
thought there was like as
I think
much
people are
hype.
going to be
Well, yeah,
excited about it. Yeah.
but I also think the hype and the attention kind of went along with that though. Because I thought there was a lot of hype for the playoffs, like before this year's playoffs. Maybe it's because of everything that happened, but I feel like it died down faster than I've ever seen. I feel like
The,
people tuned out.
the NFL started. and
The
then
NFL what?
the NFL started 4 weeks ago in the middle of the playoffs.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. That's what I mean by like there's a lot of factors here, but I feel like without the NFL was going that route anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like the NFL plays 1 day a week. Or no, they play 3 days a week, but you have usually a crummy Thursday night football game. Like, I don't know. Even on days where there wasn't NFL. I don't know. But we do know this though. This is a different opinion. They cannot end their season past June.
I don't know about that.
I mean, they can, but they're going to take a hit if they end their season past June.
I mean, I think they'd go to the end of July.
I feel like July and August are months that people, A, vacation a lot, and B, barbecue, spend a lot of times outdoors, go camping, whatever, right? Like, July and August are the main months for that. I feel like ending it early, mid-June is fine. July, you run into, like, people don't want to be indoors watching NBA on their TV.
Yeah, I mean, there's obviously going to be a little bit of that.
So, I don't know. I mean, like, June I think, is a perfect month to end, right? Mid-June, like, most schools get out, like, very end of May, first week or two of June, like, kind of in that time frame. I feel like that is a good time frame for them to end. Maybe a little bit earlier. But I also say this, like, the NBA starting in October, I think, is perfect. Because the NBA is an indoor sport. And you're running up against winter.
Yeah, it doesn't look like they're going to...
They're not, I mean, obviously not.
Yeah.
I wish you could, like, okay, draft is 2 days after the end of the finals, all right? So Lakers win, drafts on the 11th, free agency is the 12th to the 20th, training camp in preseason is the 21st to 31st, and first game is November 1st. I wish, but that's not good for the players or anything, but that would be fun. But so I mean, this year's schedule is messed up. I just think going forward, because this is what people were talking about, like, oh, should they start permanently on Christmas? I don't think that's good for the NBA. I think the NBA being on all winter and being an indoor sport that you can go to is good for the NBA. It's good for the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
If you take some of what was if you take some of the season in November/December and eliminate that and stretch it into July and August, I don't think that's good.
Yeah, I think we'll go a little further towards the end of June, but yeah, I mean, I see it both ways. Because the earlier you start, the more you're affected by NFL and stuff, and you hear a lot of people say they don't care about it until Christmas or the year flips over anyway. So
yeah, but without the NFL, would they care in November though? You know what I mean? Like, would it really make that much of a difference considering how it's an 82 game season?
I don't know, but like in a lot of these cities where they care so much about NFL teams, I don't think that helps what you're trying to accomplish and getting more fans in love with teams versus players. I don't think that helps going against a juggernaut like that.
Yeah, but I
So I
mean,
see it both ways.
but I mean,
Because I like the schedule the way it is, but
if you stretch into August, you run up against NFL preseason. So you
yeah, but
really only like okay, so you run it to like end of July because people watch NFL preseason. Like
no one cares about preseason.
people pay
No,
attention. You know what I
no, they
mean?
don't.
But
They pay
like you're
attention to
also
depth charts for fantasy teams.
yeah, but then you also run into the issue with people, would rather be inside during the summer once a week watching a game compared to 3 times a week. I don't know. I don't think. I don't know. I think the schedule is fine. I think you ramp up as the NFL season ramps down, and people's interest ramps up in the NBA, unless they have a playoff team or whatever. But then the playoffs, you're only talking about 2 days a week: Saturday, Sunday, and you're talking about the winter. So at that point, they might be watching basketball on a Wednesday night or a Friday night or whatever.
But if you think about it, if it's going into August, like right now, there's only 2 teams left. It's not like it's all 32.
Yeah, but
teams
that's when you
or
want.
whatever.
But that's when you want the most people in front of the TV watching the playoffs. I feel like, I don't know.
There is a lot of like school ending in June and stuff like that. I don't know. It's just so weird. I don't know what to make of any of the stuff for this year. I mean, I think a lot of people realize that sports aren't as important in their lives as they might have thought pre-COVID, which hurts too.
Yeah, I feel like once it winds down, people will slowly buy back in.
Yeah, of course.
Because I definitely think that's a factor in it. I just think the setup they had before was fine. What they had before in terms of the scheduling was fine. I could maybe see starting it in November and ending it in July, right? I just think you have to start it by the middle of November. I think if you're starting mid-November, that's fine, and you're ending it middle of July, that's fine. Any later than that, I don't think is ideal.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they think. Because, I mean, we heard even before all this that they were considering pushing it back to Christmas.
Yeah, I don't think you can do that. I think that's too late. Like, I
Well,
understand why
they
you
can.
Moving it. And end middle of August. I don't think that's ideal. I would rather go to a game in the middle of December than the middle of like July.
Mm-hmm.
When it's the playoffs game, is fine. But like in the middle of May, June, like I'd rather go to a game in December. I feel like a lot of basketball fans would rather go to a game in December. I feel like I don't know. Maybe that's my own bias talking. I just feel like people.
Jado says, anyone here care about the summer league? I actually care way more about summer league than preseason. So.
Yeah.
I love summer league.
I also feel like people like associate fall with the start of basketball, like the fall season of basketball and Halloween time. I don't know. Like, it's weird.
I think that's way more associated with football.
Well, like September, like the start. I just feel like this time of year, when the weather really starts changing. Maybe that's just our climate, but like October, I feel like is when the weather dramatically changes. It starts dramatically getting cooler. You get daylight savings time. It starts getting darker an hour earlier. Like it's basketball season time. Like I don't know. It's just maybe that's just my own bias, but it's so like hardwired in me, man. And I feel like it's hardwired in a lot of people. I don't know. It's just there's not enough reason to change it. There's other issues you could run into if you push the schedule back. I think it's fine. Keep it as it is.
Dude,
Once things go back to normal.
So, you know how I own a party store? Uh-huh. We get catalogs for like fall Halloween time.
Yeah.
They always include football section in there. Enough basketball, nothing. That's always football. In the fall Halloween.
Like football parties, like watch parties, are far more common than NBA watch parties.
Well, yeah. I mean, no one cares.
It's once a week. If basketball was once a week, you might have like, don't know.
Yeah.
But like obviously
But
the
like,
NFL
I
is
mean,
going to be more
it's the
popular
same
no
with
matter
like
what the
baseball.
NBA is.
Like, no one gets together to watch baseball either. So
There's a game every damn day. You could, that's an excuse to drink every damn day. Just party all day, man. But yeah, that's what I mean though. Is like there is built-in advantages for the NFL just the way it's set up. I feel like if the NBA had one game a week, you would have more like it'd be more of like what's the right word for it? It'd be more of like a spectacle. It'd be more of like an experience-based thing. It'd be more of like it's I don't know. I can't find the right word. I'm stumbling on the right word for it. But I feel like you know what I'm talking about.
your mic cut out. Are you there?
Yeah? Can you hear me? You mute me?
I could not hear you. If you can hear me,
Well, my mic's working on OBS. And we can hear you. What's baseball? Yeah. Eric muted me on his end.
hello.
Or his headphones cut out or something. I don't know.
My headphones did not cut out. Something happened to Skype, I think.
You just responded to me, so obviously you can't hear me. Why are you trolling me?
I couldn't hear you
I'm
for
just
like 2
kidding.
minutes.
I know. I don't know
Can you
what
guys hear
happened,
me now?
but it was not on my end. It was on your end.
I couldn't
We
hear
could
you
hear
at
you the
all.
whole time. Yeah, but like my mic was working in OBS, so it was working. So it was something with like the connection, internet maybe. But you were fine. I don't know. I've never had that happen. But
There was a loud like shrieking noise in my headphones, and then you went away, and I couldn't hear anyone.
told you, you your end. I don't know what the hell happened. Your computer like
But I didn't
glitched
touch
out.
anything. So
I don't know.
see, I didn't hear what your point was. Sorry.
I don't even remember. I was basically saying like the NFL does have a built-in advantage that it's like a 1 day a week sport compared to basketball.
Well, you have all the like gambling aspects of that too, and fantasy football is so much easier with just one game a week versus roto leagues or trying to figure out averages of 3 or 4 games or whatever.
Yeah, the NBA is gonna have to get creative. I feel like, not. I mean, maybe this is a bad parallel, but like just seeing the stuff that NASCAR has done, right? Like you get Michael Jordan buying into the sport to start a team. Like ownership there is different. They're like adding a ton of new tracks to the schedule next year. They're making forward steps in terms of like just grassroots community in terms of like trying to make racing more accessible to people with lower incomes and that type of thing. Like I don't know, they're getting creative and like changing a lot to appeal to a wider audience, right? And some of that is just reconstructing old tracks to make them more entertaining, you know, turning a 2-mile oval into a half-mile short track, like stuff like that. I think the NBA needs to get a little creative somehow in terms of their like regular season basketball and make it so that I don't know. I don't even know what they could do though. That's the issue.
The thing is, though, their ratings are actually really strong in the demographics that matter the most, and that's like young male viewers.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that's more important, or like I'm not trying to be like sexist or whatever, but like for the longest time, people care about certain age groups of males watching sports, and the NBA actually has really good ratings in those age groups. So I feel like it'd be a bit over a reaction to do something like super drastic.
Oh, that would have been bad, bro. I would have had to pull a Ganassi, Jason. I would have had to. He would have had to go. He's googling who Kyle Larson is right now.
Is he the one that used the N word?
Yes.
I don't ever use that word, so yeah.
I think that's what he said too. So, but yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't know. I don't really have like a solution. There's just things I feel like they need to do different. In the end, in conclusion, And like some of those things, I'm not even sure exactly what those things are. They just need to. It's almost like things have gotten a little stale, almost, in a way. So, but like I don't want them to like pour all their attention into like changing the timing of the schedule and pointless stuff like, oh, a mid-season 4-game tournament, like. But granted, there might not be a solution to some of these problems at the same time. Westbrook, man.
I don't think that's funny to even joke about that. It's not. That's not cool. That's like.
Yeah.
I mean that ended people's career by using that word, so I don't think it's funny to joke about.
We know you did say, bro.
I know, but that's still not cool to like insinuate that, even if you're joking about it, that I would use that language. That really bothers me, actually.
Everybody knows you wouldn't do it, man. Everybody, like, how many streams have we had where we've, like, people know you. So, I don't know. I get it, but people know you, man. That's not something to worry about, like, people actually thinking that. But that song with Gary Trent and Nasir was okay. What do you think, Shervins? Who is better, Trent or Nasir? Obviously, Dame was the best. But Nasir was better than Gary Trent Jr. on that track, I think.
I couldn't take either of them seriously.
Yeah, Gary was corny, man. Gary was corny. Nasir had moments, had good and bad moments. Gary was funny as hell. Yeah. Gary was weird, man. As like a meme, Gary was funny, but like if that was actually meant to be a song, that was bad. I remember listening to it for the first time when I was delivering, like, I couldn't tell if it was Gary or not. So I was like, I assume this is Gary just because of his personality, but.
No wonder he got dehydration because his verse was fire.
Gary and Whiteside hanging out was hilarious, bro. Honestly, Whiteside's personality just isn't as fun as it was when he was first a Blazer. He and Cantor, bro. They both kind of like, I feel like their personalities kind of wore on the fan base and maybe even the team.
I don't know about that. You saw all kinds of videos with them goofing around in the bubble and people were laughing with Whiteside and stuff.
Yeah, but I don't know. Like,
I don't want to speculate because Cantor was completely different. He was like, "Oh, Dame's the best point guard ever. I love playing with him." And then, like July 1st, he was like, "James Westbrook's better than Dame." He's like, "Screw Portland," you know. Like, Boston's the new best fans ever.
Yeah,
I don't think I haven't seen any of that with Whiteside.
I feel like the more Cantor was like over the top positive, the more fake it came off.
Yeah.
Like when he was a Blazer, it was just like, okay, bro. With the Whiteside, I don't know. There's been people on my teams that like kind of remind me of Whiteside, where they're just an absolute like goofball. Can be funny as hell sometimes, and the other times he's just like, oh, shut up.
It's
man.
frustrating.
Like,
yeah, it's frustrating.
So, because they're just over the top.
There's a reason why Dave had to say on his birthday dinner in the bubble, like, I didn't come here to F around or whatever, you know. You guys better not too.
Because you got some. That's the thing. It's like, what, a couple years ago, it was like, oh, we're the third youngest team in terms of age, but a lot of it was like our oldest guy was 28 or something, was like Evan Turner, and like we had a lot of guys that were like 25, 26. I feel like now we have an older average age probably, but we have more like young guys in terms of Nasir, Gary Trent Jr., Wenyan, Anthony, guys like that.
You don't want that Whiteside personality rubbing off on them.
Oh my goodness, not on Anthony, man. Watch, Anthony's gonna come back just completely different next year. Imagine Anthony actually talking.
Oh no, we're trading him for the sixth pick. Remember?
Oh yeah. Oh, we're not getting into that sorry right now. Tyler Johnson video had me dying. See, okay, here's the thing with Whiteside. I can't tell how much of it is a joke and how much of it is like him being just dumb. You know what I mean? Like what he tweeted out and his whole Twitter stuff lately with like him saying "Screw America, I'm gonna go to Hawaii," and then saying, "Bro, I didn't tweet that. That's fake. Just look at the timestamp. I'm not. It's not even that time here or whatever." Like, I feel like that could have potentially him just being like goofing around, you know, like knowing what he was saying and just like try to make people laugh. But I also feel like that could be him just being just not being the brightest bulb in the warehouse.
I would hope like if you filmed yourself with like that Tyler Johnson thing, like why post that if you realized you were being dumb, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Or maybe he just thinks like him being dumb is funny. I don't know.
See, but like he could have like said those two things on Twitter, Joel, like as a joke, but then like it got too much attention and people were like being too hard on him for it. So then he like tried to take it back. I don't know.
The funniest part about the whole thing is like everyone could see Whiteside posting that. That's what made it so perfect if it was a joke or like someone like faked it, because that is something like I could see Whiteside saying and then being like, oh no, I never said that.
Yeah, I don't know, man. He Marshall College. How long did he go there? Because that's where he went to college, Marshall.
I'm not sure.
I assume he was just absolute class clown. And his professors probably hated him.
He's a guy that didn't make it in the NBA till mid-20s too. Like he flamed out, went overseas, and came back. And
hey, he can go back overseas, man. He can reverse his career. He kind of peaked already. He peaked like that first year he was with Miami, I feel like, and now it's just going downhill. I don't know. He's still a decent NBA player. He's frustrating because he could be so much better if he was mentally like better. You know, it's kind of like with Myers, but it's just as because that's what was always said about Myers was like, oh, if he had a different brain in between his ears, imagine how good he'd be. But Whiteside, I feel like just as much as Myers is like if he had a different brain in between his ears, imagine how good he'd be. He's so damn big. He's like decently. I think his like mobility is underrated. He's so lanky. But it's just like he chases blocks. He never blocks us out. He steals rebounds from teammates. He like it's just stuff like that where it's like he chases stats. So that's where I mean, like if he had a different brain with that body, he could be like a really good like I feel like he could be Gobert-esque maybe. Like,
yeah. I don't want to bash coaching too much, but I also feel like if you had him do stuff like he did in the first game of the season, he'd be more engaged right off the bat if he wasn't just because like nobody who wants to block shots wants to like sag off a guy and play drop scheme and like that's not fun for a big man. So like I can kind of see where he can get lazy because he's not having fun out there, like not the offense isn't designed at all to get him lobs or get him going. You know, we saw games where he was basically our offense in some quarters and it was all off of like offensive rebounds and little putbacks and stuff. It wasn't like we were giving him the ball and letting him score. And for someone who shoots 61% from the field to not even get a chance, it's I don't know. I kind of see it both ways, but yeah, I agree that Trevin's asking when you became the Whiteside hater.
I've never been a Whiteside hater. It's just like how it is. Like I've said that he chases stats.
It's a pretty recent thing, yeah.
You know what I mean? I've said that I've pointed out his issues. I think some people that are like, oh, Whiteside doesn't deserve to ever be on the floor and just kills our team every time he touches the floor. It just is the worst thing to ever exist. Like, there's Blazer fans that talk like that about him, and those Blazer fans like, holy, you're overreacting way too much. Like, he's still a decent player. He could be better. He could be a lot better than he is.
There was some national guy, I forget what it was, who made a joke today that Olshey deserved Executive of the Year votes for his job he did with Miami, taking that contract off. It's like, dude, what are you talking about? We gave up Harkless and Whiteside. It's not like, or Harkless and Leonard. It's not like we gave up like 3 first-round picks for him. And Whiteside was actually, we needed him this year. He played decent for us, so it's not like that trade was a complete disaster or anything. But
yeah,
the disaster was not trading him. It's still a disaster. It will always be a disaster. Unless we somehow, I mean, you could still make up for that this summer, I guess, by making the perfect moves, but not trading him at the deadline will always be the problem, and that's not Whiteside's fault. That lies on Olshey.
Yeah, I wish we had more contracts to trade this summer. I wish we had like a Tony Snell type of contract, because then you could legitimately talk about like, oh, what about Otto Porter Jr.? Maybe take a flyer on him, you know? Like, Tony Snow ain't worth anything, and, you know, Ariza's old. And Otto Porter Jr. would probably be better, but he's injury issued, you know? Like, I don't know. Like, trade it. If we had Tony Snow,
like
if we traded,
Griffin,
like, Whiteside for Tony Snow and expiring, then, like, I'm not even sure I'd necessarily want to do, like, Ariza for Otto Porter Jr. just because his injury issues have been so bad, and Ariza played good for us. So that would be a debate. But you could have that conversation. That could be a trade talk video. You know what I mean? Yeah. Blake Griffin could be a subject in a trade talk video. Instead, it's like, we don't have the contracts to match for Otto Porter Jr. So yeah. And somebody will ask, oh, what do you think about going after Blake Griffin? And it's like, we don't have the contracts to match for Blake Griffin. Like, it sucks, man. It sucks from a content creation standpoint.
Or if you're talking about, like, Snell and another person for Aldridge, even, you know, it'll at least be an interesting story, like, whether you do it or not. But, yeah. Yep.
503's defending Olshey. 503's kind of acted like he's soured on Stotts the past 2 weeks. I don't know what the hell is going on with him.
Yeah, that he was actually defending Olshey to that national media guy was talking about. It was kind of funny.
Yeah, just call it how you see it, man. Don't be biased towards Olshey or Stotts. And you got my respect. So the fact that he's defending Olshey, because I never thought I'd ever see him defending Olshey, but we're radicalized 503, man. Now we just gotta get him watching our stream.
I liked Olshey until he didn't use the problem is he pumped up that Crab trade exception like it was like the best asset ever, and then it went unused.
Yeah.
It would have been fine if you don't use it. Just don't like act like, oh, I'm saving that exception because something really big's going to happen, and then nothing happens. And then, so that's when I started just like be more critical of him. But it was about 13 million. But that was back when like that kind of money, because nowadays, like, honestly, looking at trades, there's not like a lot of teams that have a super crappy contract that they'd want to dump and like you get a ton for, other than like the players that signed last year for way more money than we can trade for, which is to your point, like an Al Horford or a Tobias Harris and stuff like that you could probably get for basically nothing if you had contracts this summer. Not saying you'd want to get those guys, but those are the only kind of bad contracts, are the really, really expensive guys like a Russell Westbrook, John Wall, Nick Batum, like those kind of contracts. But we're not in the market to get any of those guys, so it can't get like assets attached to them. And there's not a lot of bad contracts in like the 10 million range that we can actually get.
And here's the thing, like, okay, you want to talk about getting Kelly Oubre Jr., right? Like, we could have that discussion without it being, oh, we'd have to trade Ariza for him. It could be like, oh, we could trade like a Tony Snell for him and like a first round pick, and we can combine, you know, we can have Ariza and Oubre. But the problem is, to get a guy like Oubre, we have to trade Ariza. And Ariza's like a decent player compared to like Snell, who would just be an expiring contract, and he's not really worth anything as a player. So that's the thing, is like it's frustrating just the position we are because we didn't because we didn't trade Whiteside. Because I would love to be able to just do like I would love to be able to do a stream like, I mean, dude, throw back to this. Do any of you guys remember this stream? This was it actually wasn't even a stream. It was like, this was back when we recorded them as a video. We dropped this September 25th. But like, we went through a bunch of targets. We had Iguodala, Gallinari, Aldridge, Blake Griffin, Otto Porter Jr., Aaron Gordon, screw that, Kevin Love, and then like that was all outro. Jeez, that was a while ago. But I don't know, like that's the thing, is there's so many targets last offseason, like at the deadline this year, that we could talk about. Now it's like that's why I wanted to, do more like focused on one trade in a trade talk video, compared to like how many people we have saying the same names over again, or names that we literally just have to sit there and say we don't have the contracts to match, or that player is a free agent, he can't be traded. Because that's a lot of
just sign and trade Melo.
Let's go trade, dude. We should. Who's like a decent free agent this year?
Decent or good, like Anthony Davis or Brandon Ingram,
like
Malik. Oh no,
yeah,
no,
it's
no,
like
no. Christian Wood.
We should sign and trade Whiteside for a sign and traded Christian Wood. You know what I mean? Like,
because Detroit would want to do that.
Yeah, I was like, God, there was like a comment. I forget. It might have been Christian Wood actually, or it might have just been a different like young player who was a free agent. Was basically like, we should sign and trade Hassan Whiteside for Christian Wood. It's like, it doesn't work like that. And Christian Wood is a free agent. And why the hell would Detroit do that? Like, or it's Blake Griffin. Oh, we can't match that, man. Like, it's so much just not stuff that could actually work. There's not much feasible trades to make out there that makes sense for us and makes sense for another team as well. So, I don't know. That's why I keep going back to that Bielitsa trade, because I think that trade is absolutely perfect. I think that's as perfect of an off-season trade as in my mind. Eric's not as high on it as I am, but I think that's as perfect of a trade there is going into an off-season. I don't know. Because the Kings owner, I forget, I read something about how he's been hit hard by... Why did that come up? He's been hit hard by the pandemic financially. They've been talking about maybe just waiving Bielitsa, so they probably wouldn't want any salary back if they traded him, right? They would obviously love to get, future seconds or maybe a first or whatever. They would love to get picks for him, but they probably don't want contracts back because they're probably looking to save money. That's why they just waive him outright. But we have a trade player exception where we wouldn't have to trade him any salary, and we could take on Bielitsa. That might be something where like we would only have to trade a second for him.
Yeah.
Which would be phenomenal. And then we fill one of our rotation spots without using our mid-level exception.
I would trade up to 2 seconds in a heartbeat for him.
Okay. That might be possible, bro. Like, you know how ecstatic
I think 16 is too much, but I would do 2 seconds.
I would love to do 2 seconds. I would be so ecstatic if, like, the day before the draft, sometime before the draft, because trades start happening, if it was 2 seconds for Nemanja Bjelica. And we could roll into the draft excited about the 16th pick and have Nemanja Bjelica.
If we could somehow, because they could take back less salary too, so if we could somehow dump Mario in that trade, so it was like Mario for Bjelica and
I'm not going to get that greedy.
No, I know, but that would be one of the best trades ever.
I know. Because, bro, like, it's one move, but it's like, okay, we got our starting lineup, and we got our backup 2, 3, and 4, right? We got Dame, CJ, Ariza, Collins, Nurkic, starting lineup, and we got Gary Trent Jr., we got Rodney Hood, we got Bjelica. Right? CJ McCollum could play backup point guard for the bench. So it would literally just be like, oh, the only position rotation spot we have left to fill is center. And then it'd be like, oh, we don't care if Whiteside walks, because if he walks, we still have our full mid-level exception to spend on a center, and we don't have any other rotation spots left to fill. Right? You could add like a backup point guard or whatever, but like in terms of just like guys that would legitimately play, it would be like, it would take off the need to even resign Whiteside. Because you could go use the mid-level exception on a guy and pay him 1 year for $9 million, and he wouldn't have a no-trade clause. If you resign Hassan Whiteside to a 1-year contract for $9 million, he has a no-trade clause, just because the way the NBA rules work. If we go out and, if Whiteside walks and we go out and sign Derek Favors for 1 year, $9 million, who I think Derek Favors would probably be better off the bench than Hassan Whiteside because he'd accept that role and has just better energy for that role, we could trade him without him being able to say, no, you can't trade me. So that's the thing. It's like, that trade just sets things up so perfectly, and I would love to have 3 40% shooters off the bench. We already have 2. I would love to have 3.
Well, I mean, the only thing I'll say that is, obviously we don't know what Hood status will be, but you'd have Little, and if you drafted a wing with the 16th pick, you'd have 2 younger guys too that could cover for Hood, and maybe even show you something to where they deserve a roster or a rotation spot by the time he's ready to be himself again.
Yeah, in case something happens where a guy can't play or whatever, you have those young guys that are ready to step in if needed. But that's the thing, like, bro, we literally have 3 guys on the roster already who shot 40% from 3 last year. One of them is Rodney Hood, he's a question mark, but Gary Trent Jr. and Damian Lillard. We have a 4th guy who shot 40% from 3 during his Blazer tenure. That was Trevor Ariza, right? If you made that trade for Bielitsa, that'd be a 5th guy who shot 40% from 3 last year. I don't want to hear, oh, we just can't make enough shots as an excuse in that scenario. You know what I mean? Like, that shooting would be phenomenal. In that bench lineup, if you had Gary Trent Jr., Rodney Hood, Bielitsa, and then $9 million to spend on a center, would be a top 5 bench. Like, it's not even doing much. That's the thing.
Yeah.
That trade needs to happen, man. I want that trade to happen so bad. I think Bielitsa would be a good fit here. He's a smart passer. He'd be a guy where, like, if we finally started moving the ball, he would fit in beautifully there. He would space the court. Only thing is his defense.
If we
is
start
kinda
moving the ball.
but, like, offensively, he's perfect. He's absolutely perfect as a backup 4. Shoot, honestly, he's pretty damn good fit as a starting 4 offensively. Wouldn't start him at the 4 because of the defensive issues, but like off the bench, those defensive issues I don't think are as big of a deal.
Mm-hmm.
So,
but that's something where, if you need offense, you play Bielitsa. If you need defense, you play Collins.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
And he could start because Collins might not be ready either.
Mm-hmm. They're going to start in, like, what, January? Is it really going to take Collins, like, 6 months?
The average recovery time was about 4 months, and he had surgery in, late August? So that's like the average. So it's usually 4 to 6 months recovery time. So yeah. But they've been super cautious with injuries too. So I always lean
if
on
he's not ready, then you start Bielitsa and you play Nas as some backup 4, or you play Wenyen. Like that's the thing. It's like I think we definitely need to. Yeah, I don't want Nas, Simons, or Gabriel in the rotation to start next season. I think we can field a better lineup than that. Like I would rather have vets that we know we can count on instead of like, oh, we're gonna go out and sign a Mario Hezonja type and hope he can improve a ton and help the team, and then he doesn't, and we're screwed. I'd rather have like, oh, we know we can count on Gary Trent. Rodney Hood, he's coming back from injury, but he's shown that he can perform at the NBA level. We got a guy like Bielitsa. We got a guy like, I don't know, Derek Favors or Aaron Baines that we know can be a solid backup center. Like, and just know that everybody that's going to play minutes, if the roster is healthy, you know what they're going to give you. And then, if somebody gets hurt, then you slot these young guys. Then you slot a Simons in and hope he performs well. Then you slot a Gabriel in or a Nas in and hope they perform well. I think that's the best construct going into next season. I'd love to develop Nas and play him a ton of minutes so he becomes really good. But, like, I think we need to be in contention mode, right? So that's not the
Well,
priority.
it's basically what happened with Trent this year. He wasn't a part of the rotation at the beginning of the season. He kind of played his way into it with the injuries, but then at the same time, you look at if we didn't have the injuries, he might have not gotten a chance, and then we'd be wondering just how good he is too.
Exactly.
So
that's the silver lining. You know, if
Yeah.
Ariza got hurt, then Nas gets a chance, and he might play his way into being a helpful player on a contending team. You know, like kind of like how Gary Trent Jr. played his way into being a good enough player that he would be playing a ton of minutes for the Lakers right now. I feel like. So I mean, yeah, you know, we're not gonna have perfect injury health. The thing is with Nas is he can play 3 or 4. So if we have any issues with the 3 or 4, you know, you slot him in, he's ready to go. If we have any issues with, you know, Colin, or if we have any issues with either of our centers, you know, Nurkic, whoever we signed to be the backup center, then Gabriel, I think, as a center is serviceable for 15 minutes a game, and can help you. So, you know, he plays to his role well. He's not. I wouldn't say necessarily he's a guy that's going to help you, but he's a guy that's probably not going to hurt you, if that makes sense. So,
Bro, if that was their team though, what you mentioned with the elites and stuff, think of how many Blazer fans would be like, "Oh, Shea failed again this summer. That team's gonna suck. He can't put the pieces around Dame." You know, like, you'd hear it.
yeah, but like, I don't know if no big name player
If
gets
we had
traded other than
Bielitsa
like
over
Chris
Melo,
Paul.
but if we trade for Bielitsa over keeping Melo, I think there's going to be a lot of people that are like, "Oh, we downgraded again." You know, like obviously we know that's not true, but I think there's going to be a lot of people who say that.
I don't think the media guys would say that. As much as they get wrong, I think they'd be like, you're bringing a guy who shoots 42% from 3, gets over 3 assists per game, is a better passer and shooter than Melo, isn't as ball dominant. Like, I feel like they would recognize how that's a better move. You know what I mean? And like without any big name players really on the market this offseason, I feel like you're not going to be able to like compare it.
But people don't care. They just say, "Oh, he failed
yeah.
again. Just didn't take a risk." Well, what risk did you want him to take? I don't know. He should have got Jeremy Grant.
You'll always have that. You always have those people.
Yeah,
Jeremy Grant the risk. Yeah, you'll always have those people. But I think like if Olshey went out and like made that trade for Bielitsa for a couple second round picks and then signed like a Derek Favors or an Aaron Baines to be our backup center, I think just from the whole fan base, I think people would be pretty positive about it. I think people would be not like over the moon or anything, but I feel like it would be like generally positive. I mean, you go into next year with 40% shooters off the bench. You go into next season with the best bench Damian Lillard has ever had behind him, right? Like, you don't have any big bad contracts. You don't have any Mario Hezonjas in the rotation. Don't have, you know what I mean? Like, it's, and you got the 10th, 11th, 12th guys are all decent young guys. You know, it's not like, oh, well, one guy gets hurt and we have to play Anthony Tolliver. I feel like people would be happy with that.
Until like Trevin says we underperform, and then everyone will blame Olshey instead of Stotts.
And I feel like if we underperformed while healthy with that roster, the tide might finally turn in terms of people realizing that Stotts isn't a basketball savant. You know, like, I feel like at that point, what excuses do you have? You know what I mean? People say the defense, but it's like, okay, you got Ariza, Collins, and Nurkic starting, right? Like, if you still think, like, the personnel is a problem, then you must just think Dame and CJ are just impossible to coexist defensively, and you must want to trade one of the two, right? If not, then it doesn't make any sense. Shooting, we literally have 4 40% three-point shooters from the previous year, 5 if you only account Ariza's tenure in Portland. You know what I mean? Like, and the thing is, the guys that aren't 40% shooters are CJ, who's a good three-point shooter, Nurkic, who's developing his three-point shot, Collins, who can knock down some threes. Like, there's no shooting excuse there. You know what I mean? So, I don't know. Yeah, they would probably still find a way to blame Olshey, but I feel like it would get even more ridiculous than it already has been. And some people might finally realize, like, oh, wow, like, maybe these people just blame Olshey for everything and never blame Stotts. I don't know. I feel like the tide might turn for a few people in that situation. And then they'll become Blazers Surprise fans and get a tattoo of Eric on their back.
I agree with Sherman's that they'll always find an excuse to blame anyone but Stotts.
Yeah, we'll be bigger next year, though.
Yeah.
We'll be bigger next year than we were this year, so maybe we can pull in some more. We can save some more souls next season from the terrible takes of Chad Doing and Aaron Fentress in Pinwheel Empire and all those clowns. We can save some people next year. I feel like we'll do a lot of saving next year. We'll save some people from that abyss. I mean, look at it, bro. We're like kind of saving 503 right now. You know, never thought 503 was savable, but the other Blazers outside. Yeah, I should have said Dan Meringue. That's the name. I knew I was forgetting the name. But
we got blocked.
Yeah, that's. I don't even remember what for, man. It's soft. Dan Meringue. Okay, Dan Meringue is sensitive. Let me just say that. He's sensitive. He would probably get upset that I said that, which proves that he's sensitive.
It was because I think someone tagged us in a post that he made or something, and he got sick of dealing with. So, he's one of those guys who says, like, you guys just don't understand. There's factors out of his control that he can't do anything. So, like, when he gets a guy injured, he just can't coach anymore because he's having someone telling him he can't change his style or anything.
Beyond comical that Dan Meringue is telling me that I don't understand basketball. That is so comical to me, man. Let's go play basketball, Dan. Let's go play Let's go come play in my rec league, bro. We'll see who understands basketball, man. I don't know, man. Because like that's not
necessarily good.
No, I'm just saying. You put one of those guys on a court playing basketball, they are clueless, and it's not even like a talent thing. They don't know basketball like that. You know, like they don't know basketball like that. Like they don't know the intricacies. They don't know the intricacies of things because they've never either been coached or been trained, or they've never done their research in terms of learning a lot of the intricacies of the sport. So that's the thing. The thing is, like, my rec league, your rec league probably, like, yeah, it's a rec league, but you got a lot of guys in there that have played before that know the intricacies of the sport. You throw a guy like a Dan Meringue out there, or a Chad Doing out there, and they'd look terrible in a damn rec league. You know what I mean? But the only reason I make this point is because those people are the ones sitting here saying, yeah, you just don't understand the intricacies of the game of basketball. It's common.
I think they're more saying that we don't understand how his job isn't just to coach. Like, he has people telling him what to do as well, which is BS. But
I'm not going to listen to somebody who's never been coached the game of basketball on the coaching of the game of basketball. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, I'm not going to listen to somebody that's never dealt with coaching.
Well, I mean, those are the same people who are like, if you think Stott should ever be fired before Dame retires, you're an idiot. You know, like, okay, so he just can't ever do he doesn't have to coach a day in his life until Dame retires, and then, like, so dumb.
Bro, the problem I have, too, is, like, we got too many, like, old heads, I feel like. You know, not trying to take us. You're not an old head to me. You're not an old head to me. I feel like we got too many old heads covering the team. I feel like you can have a good balance between, like, people that are more like new generation and people that are old generation. But you got guys like Chad Doing, Dwight James, even Dan Meringue. I feel like it's kind of that way. I don't know, man. Like, I don't know.
Why did Alex Wolf just ask me the most random movie if it was good or not? Like, what were we even talking about?
At least he didn't ask me because I don't watch movies. But no, like, I don't know, man. You gotta have more youth in terms of covering this team. I feel like there's not enough youth covering this team. You got a
Yeah.
bunch of old guys that, like, I don't know.
That's
like,
what you're here for, Tori.
the game has changed so much, and I feel like a lot of these, like, people that, like a Chad Doing or Dwight James, like, haven't really, like, fully kept up with the way the game has changed. You know what I mean? Modern basketball is a lot different than it was, like, 15 years ago. So, I don't know. I'm just randomly rambling. These just random thoughts at this point.
Yes, I always come back to this when I'm thinking about that kind of stuff. It's like, even if he was being told exactly what rotations and minutes to play, it still doesn't change the fact that he's not teaching, like, Dame and CJ how to get through a pick, or that if your defense is near worst in the league, is Olshey telling him he has to continue running drop scheme every game except for against Houston? He's like, okay, against Houston's thoughts, you can coach, but against every other team, you're not allowed to do anything other than drop scheme and switches.
But
So, that doesn't make any sense that it's someone above him telling him how to do stuff.
Yeah, but what's... You got a ghost in your room?
Hey, Fly.
But what's ridiculous, like, those people have never been taught to get through a pick. They've never watched somebody teach someone to get through a pick. Because that's the... You could have never played, but you could watch, like, training videos on YouTube from, like, some of the best basketball trainers in the game. From, like, a Drew Hanlon or whatnot. And you can, like, learn this type of stuff by watching it. But, like, that's the thing. They've never been taught how to get through a screen. They've never had to run drop scheme themselves. They've never been taught what proper help side defensive positioning is. And maybe they did, but it was like in middle school. You know what I mean? Because I don't think Dan Moraine played high school basketball. I don't think Chad Doing played high school basketball. Maybe Dwight Jason. I don't know. I don't think any of these guys were, like, ever played, ever learned through actually doing things. You know, they've never been coached, man. It's just so backwards to me. It's just backwards. Like, it just doesn't make sense. But I don't know. Like, because that's the thing. I've been watching a channel that's actually, if you guys want to get better at basketball, or if you just want to know more about, like, the intricacies and, like, you know, just learn more about basketball. Let me search it so I get the name right. I'll post the link in here. I've been watching this channel, and a lot of it is a lot of training from Drew Hanlon, who is a guy who trains a ton of NBA players. You know who Drew Hanlon is, right, Eric?
Yeah, of course.
Just wanted to make sure. You sound offended that I even questioned that.
No, I know Drew Hanlon, yeah.
He was the guy training with Myers. I shouldn't say he was training with Myers because maybe that's a mark against him. But
no, he trained with all kinds of Blazers.
Yeah, he's trained like Jason Tatum, Joel Embiid, a number of pro players. Bradley Beal's another one. But this channel I've been watching a lot lately, and it's really interesting. So if you guys are interested in just, like, learning about, like, individual things, like trainers will work on a player on, that's a good channel. And if you're young, you could probably use a lot of the things in these videos and apply them to your game. So,
except for Java, he doesn't need to apply anything. He's already in the NBA. Yeah.
Where's Java, man? Java hasn't been here in forever.
Yeah.
Java. Yeah. I ain't even gonna get on Java. Javo and Zane just went down their own road with their whole shtick. We need Kappen back.
That's where I'm an old head.
What?
I just, like, cringe at some of the stuff
So do
people
I, dude.
do. Like, the craving for likes and begging for retweets and stuff, like, just
copy pasta type
like,
stuff. Like,
saying stupid stuff just to get attention. Like, I just don't get it.
I'm 24
That's why I avoided Twitter for so long.
Oscar, I will save your high school basketball career, bro. I got you. Anyway, speaking about basketball, though, I was at the gym today, man. I got my pull up feeling so smooth.
Uh, yeah. I
You see
figured you
that?
were gonna show this
You said,
video.
bro, look how smooth this is, though. I'm happy with it.
Here
I'm
we
happy
go,
with it.
chat. Here we go.
Let me know if this looks smooth, chat. Bro, I'm happy with. Let me be happy about my progress. The fact that how I got it today, because I fixed something in my pull up, and now it's just I feel so good.
Speaking of Zane, you're pushing it forward.
What?
He was trying to tell you were pushing it forward too much or something.
So dumb, man. That was ridiculous, man. I can't even pull it up. You guys are saved from me.
Oh man.
Oh wait, just kidding.
We haven't had Tori posting videos of himself in a
Oh,
while.
I know.
Few
Throwback,
streams.
man. Throwback.
2 or 3 weeks.
Oh wait, no. Exit. Okay. Hey, this looks smooth. Does that look smooth, chat? Does that look good? Like I like it. It feels good, man. How's that look, chat? 1 to 10, grade it. I already know what half the grades are gonna be. Why did I even say that? I already know. I just set myself up for that crap. Oh. Who's gonna be the first person to take the layup and say the obvious here? Because remember the rule. Remember the ban rule. That wasn't it, Westbrook, but nice. Fucking great.
So they can't be honest if they think it's a 2.2 out of 10.
Yeah, Eric.
Sherman,
I'll
yeah.
hide you. Nope, Sherman's bye.
Um, yeah, Alex, I would do that trade if I was LA for Buddy Hield, but I don't see Sacramento doing that.
Your shot reminds me of MC. MC? Who's MC? How did... No, that's because I clicked the options on the message above that IMO and banned him. So I think it just shows it where he was banned. If that makes any sense. AM, you're not going top of the key 5 for 5 from 3, bro. AM is like Javo 2.0 with play basketball, man. Let's see that footage, bro. Prove it. All these, okay, everybody that goes into chat and is like, oh, I would be automatic from 3. I'm cash. I'm like, okay, show me a video that they never come forward with it. Come on.
Oh, AM's had his video on whatever the one that is it Flight that no, not Flight. Who's the one that is it Kenny? Whatever. One of the ones that show videos.
DM me the link on Twitter, AM.
I think you played this on a stream before. Probably. Cash Nasty, yeah. Someone Cash Nasty who like watches people's form and judges them and rates them and comments on them. AM's been on there before.
I want to watch this. Send me the link and timestamp of where it was. I know you remember it, bro, because I know you've probably rewatched it like 1,000,000 times.
I don't think you can send links.
That's why I said to DM it to me.
Oh, okay.
Rivers Jello, make it happen. I'll give that man work. But nah, I'm changing like the rhythm. I was too wind-up-y in the past, so I'm like fixing that, and it just makes everything feel so much smoother. Did that look smoother than my old jump shot, Eric? Did that look better?
They look pretty similar to me.
Damn. I just think
it's kind of hard with a 3-second video.
True.
And plus, it's not like I've seen you shoot like hundreds of times or something.
True.
Oh, Ben's coming to your defense.
Ben's my guy, man. I banned Trevin because I didn't see the 2.2 points per game. When he said at 2.2 points per game true, I'm like, nope, none of that. Gone. Ejected. Bro, I want to play Among Us. Chat, any of you guys play Among Us?
I want to play too. I downloaded it on my phone right before we went on stream, actually.
Bro, like, I want to play it with online with chat, with everybody having mics. Of course, you like mute your mics while you're playing, and then whenever you meet, you unmute your mics. That would be fun, man. That'd be fun. I might have to do that. That'd be fun.
So what's the point of the game? There's 2 imposters.
Yes.
And there's what, like 10 people?
And they try like to 8 or 9, but yeah.
They try to you win if you figure out who the 2 imposters are, or how does it?
Or if you get all your tasks done, you have tasks to do around like the map, different tasks to do and whatnot, and the imposters are trying to kill people. So, if you like find a dead body, you report it, and then everybody meets and tries to figure out who killed him, basically. The easiest way to understand would be to watch a couple YouTube videos on it, because I had no idea what it was until like 5 days ago. Everybody was talking about it for the past month. It's like huge on Twitch now.
Trevin's always commenting.
Is he? It's a cell phone game. It's a computer game that you can play on your cell phone too. It's not like a game that's like graphically amazing or anything. It's all about like
relationships and strategy, and
it's like a mental game basically.
Yeah.
But I wish I could stream games. I wish I was like a popular Twitch streamer that could just meet up with a bunch of other popular Twitch streamers and play video games on stream and make money. That's a dream job, man. 5 years from now, maybe. I'll have NBA Uprise popping off, 1 million subs. Blazers Uprise, 50,000 subs. I'll have a gaming channel, 10 million subs. I'll have a vlog channel. I'll have a relationship advice channel for whenever Alvaro and Zacho need advice. Yeah, I'll have a channel for everything, man. I'll have an OnlyFans. I knew that was gonna get said. But it would only be G-rated content, and then I could see like who is trying to, who like has a thing for me, by whoever. Actually, I don't think you can see that. But like Alvaro would probably be, his horny ass. Be disappointed. Alvaro left, I just moved in a nice apartment in southern New Mexico. What do you need advice on, Beavis?
Alex, you know the answer to that question.
Yep, never.
Should I get a dog? As much as I love pets, I would say if you're not in a position to always be around said pet, I don't think it's good to get a pet in an apartment, and like if you're gone to work a lot or whatever.
If it's a cat, it's fine. If it's a
Yeah,
dog,
cats are fun,
probably
but
not.
and depending on if you like to travel and stuff, and then you always have to find someone to watch it. I don't know if you have family or friends around that area. Obviously, you can't travel much right now, so.
Yep. Oh man.
Shervin wants to point out DK Metcalf like he always does.
Bro, quit simping for DK Metcalf. I don't care about DK Metcalf. I would be happy to hand out $20 to charity. More than happy to hand out $20 to charity. I'm definitely looking up his stats right now.
He's leading the league in receiving right now.
Yeah. He's just lucky though. It's just big play. He has not. He's been playing crummy secondaries. Been playing big, getting big plays. Like he's just not. It's like luck, you know. It's luck, bro. Watch. He'll get. He has 400 yards after 4 games right now, right? After 8 games, he'll have 667. After 12 games, he'll have 950. Then he's gonna get hurt. But then he'll be back for playoffs, so he'll be fine. But he won't get 1150.
He's freaking good, man.
I mean, when you have Russell Wilson throwing you the ball, is your
Lot
child moving furniture? I just heard like a coffee table slide. What were you saying?
He's playing like dinosaurs and Power Rangers or something.
Yeah.
What?
We need Garage Eric back.
Yeah, they don't have school tomorrow, so.
His dad was a offensive lineman. I didn't realize that. I didn't know that. Terrence Metcalf. DeKalen. Why doesn't he go by his first name? DeKalen. I like that. DeKalen. DeKalen Metcalf. Bro, Shervins is jinxing him into getting hurt, like right when he hits 1,000 yards, and losing that bet. Don't jinx yourself, Shervins, man. I don't want him to get hurt, but you might jinx him with how much you keep talking about how he's going to get 1150. Stephon Gilmore has COVID, so he didn't even play, did he? Or was that after?
They played week 1 or week 2, I think. So.
Stephon Gilmore's overrated. He got lucky. DK Metcalf got lucky, bro. Literally only getting 4 catches a game. Overrated.
I saw some people giving the Eagles so much crap for taking Hassan Whiteside over DK.
Hassan Whiteside. Do they even have him anymore?
I don't know. I think he's hurt. I think he's still there.
Yeah, I mean, we took...
Cardinals took Andy Isabella over. We took Debo, I know. But...
Honestly, though, like, 5 years from now, I think there is a chance that Debo's better than DK Metcalf. Like, DK Metcalf has had 4 good games right now, but, like, Debo's good. I still think I still think there's a chance Debo's better than him 5 years from now.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's a decent chance. Debo, I love Debo, man. Debo's a guy, though, that, like... I'm sure you could use DK like this, but...
That's way too loud.
Anyway, I'm sure you could use DK like this, but like you can use Debo as a runner. He is a really good runner, so end arounds and kind of, I don't know. The Niners like to run with a lot of different players. Shoot, they did an end around with George Kittle last game. They did a reverse, I think, last game. So they like to get creative with their runs, and Debo fits into that well because he's a guy who just bowls people over. Honestly, I feel like he's like what
DK could be like that too, though.
Yeah, he could, but like DK is strong, but I still feel like he's more of like a speed guy. Whereas like Debo is so damn physical. Debo reminds me of Anquan Bolden. In a way, he's so physical. I don't really know football like I know basketball though, so I'm gonna shut up.
So Ben Hewitt's been posted on Discord about how much he agrees with everything you say lately, but he just said something that's gonna make you cringe a little bit.
What did you say in the general tab?
He said, "Oh no, this was in chat, but like his other comments were in Discord." But so he was saying he wants Bielitsa and Collins to be on the bench as our 4-5, and then I said, "Well, who's the starting 4 then?" And he said, "Mello."
Oh no! Oh no! 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 Come on, man. What's Dragon? I hope he's trolling.
No, he's not trolling.
I hope he's trolling.
Ben likes Mello.
Bro, we don't
he's not
need
afraid
an
of him.
inefficient ISO scorer who can't defend. As a starting 4. Like, you're guaranteeing a bottom 10 defense with Terry Stotts and those 3 starting. Dame CJ Mello. Can't do it. Take Josh Green, number 1 overall. What? Shervins, nobody cares what the hell you have to say right now, bro. We're off of football, bro. You don't need to come in here literally every stream and say, DK! Cringy. Dude just can't, like, be happy that he might get $20. He has to, like, rub it in and be annoying about it. Come on, Shervins. Bro, okay, Eric. He just said he hasn't said anything about DK in weeks. Plural, weeks.
He stopped sending me DMs about DK, which is nice. Thanks,
okay,
man.
But in stream, though, that's
you've talked about it, like, every... Maybe because he wasn't in last stream or something, or came late.
But it hasn't been weeks, man.
Yeah.
It hasn't been weeks, bro. He's like, after every week he says it.
Yeah. The bet will still come down to whether he's healthy or not. But I'm just messing with you, Sherman. God, you take everything so seriously.
Shervins, why'd you send Eric 13 DMs?
Shervin.
Like,
Shervin.
Bro. He sent you... you told me he sent you 13 DMs on 6 different accounts. 6 different Seahawk fan accounts.
No, it was all the same one. Every catch, he sent me a video of it.
Damn.
And then one touchdown was so good, he sent it to me twice.
Damn. Shervins, man, you might as well just change your name to Decalen, because you're obsessing. Yeah, if you're going to come in here and try and give me crap about DK for fun, I'm going to give you crap for fun. Of course. You can't get like, whoa, bro, like, or offended or anything, because I'm just on the defensive right now. I'm just defending my pride. And you're trying to attack me about DK, and I'm not having it.
Man, I hope the Titans don't screw up this whole season, though.
Screw the Titans, man.
Heck,
Everybody hates the Titans.
Especially now that Mariota doesn't play for them.
Nobody even cared about the Titans. Nobody cared. Like, Titans are one of the NFL franchises I feel like nobody really cares about. And now it's like,
Oh.
bro, don't mess up our season.
I know a ton of people around here that loved him once they drafted Mariota.
Oh, well, yeah, they love Mariota, though, not the Titans. What the hell is AM Production saying? Oh. Oh, it's very crazy. I don't even want to know. Shervin's quit lying. That doesn't make anything better. I didn't say he was terrible, just overrated.
Yeah, Jason liked him just because we're...
Do you know when season will start? Nope. Do not.
They've been talking about MLK. That'd be kind of cool.
Would you? Oh.
I
Yeah.
think it's January 15th or something like that.
Yeah.
It's a little late. I mean, I hope they don't start that late, but I mean, at this point, I think it makes sense, even if it's just a one-off, to start later if they think it's possible to maybe have fans later on in the season.
Yeah. I don't know. But, like, how late can you start?
Is that a donut?
Huh? How
Is
late?
that a donut?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Or did you get cake from Buffalo Wild Wings again?
How late can you start without messing up? Like, if you want to start in October or like early November in end of 2021.
I don't think it's going to happen. No matter when you start the season. If you started by January 1st, let's see, that's 2.5 months. You can maybe make it work if you played a somewhat shorter season both years. But yeah, I think it's going to be really tough to start on time the next year. It might be 2 years before you get back to a normal schedule.
It's 8 months from start to finish.
Yeah.
So if you started on, let's just say January 1st, then you would end on September 1st.
Yeah. You could maybe start middle of November.
You could end maybe August 15th. I feel like 2-month layoff.
Start November 15th.
I feel like you could start like October, like last week of October if you ended August 15th. The finals end. Because that's over 2 months off. For the finals teams, that's more time off for the rest of them. So I feel like you'd have to start like first week of January. And like that's like the latest you could possibly start. Because I don't think you can have less than a 2-month layoff. And obviously you probably have condensed training camp and preseason. I don't know.
Shervin says this summer he's going to come to Vancouver and keep ordering DoorDash until he gets you to pick up his order.
So he's going to drive up to Vancouver constantly?
I don't know.
You have family here or something? Because with how Shervins is obsessed with DK, I assume he'd be like obsessive over me too in some weird sort of way. Great idea. I live in Vancouver. You guys can order DoorDash, man. Just if I deliver to you, you better say, "Oh, I am so and so from chat."
You should just give them one little clue onto a restaurant location that would be a good chance of getting you.
Buffalo Wild Wings. It's only one in Vancouver, and it's by my house, and they're really
nice.
Good, so
nice.
But y'all got a tip, because I'm not accepting a $3 order. Like, also depends on how far away you are. If you're like 15 miles away, you're probably not gonna accept it.
So that's what you do. You rent a hotel near Buffalo Wild Wings, because then you know you'd be near Tori's house then, and order something where you give like $10 tip or something. And he'd be like, "Wow, this is right by my house, and I get $10." And
yeah, or somebody else gets it, and we all lose.
Just keep doing it.
Yeah. I noticed DoorDash lowered the auto tip range. You should go on strike. Yeah, they did that. I don't know why, but I've kind of noticed that the tips have been slightly lower than they would normally be.
A couple weeks ago, my wife ordered DoorDash for the first time.
Did she?
Yeah.
How was your dasher? Were they solid?
I wasn't home, so
Yeah.
she couldn't leave with school going on and stuff. So
I had a
it was the only way to
DoorDash.
get.
Yeah. I had a DoorDash driver who wasn't wearing a mask. I say leave at the bottom of my stairs and text me once you've dropped it off. Leave it. It's like a leave it door option. So you're supposed to take a picture of the food through the app because that's what it tells you to do. And then like text me. And I also have my instructions in parentheses. Don't knock or ring the doorbell. So basically I'm telling them leave it at the bottom of the stairs. Text me once it's there. Don't knock on the door or ring the doorbell. I have this girl. I hear her walk up the stairs because the front door is like second story. Walk up the stairs. Then I hear her drop my drink on the porch. It was like a bottle. It was like bottled. She drops my drink. I hear it and I hear it roll. I'm like, she just dropped my drink. What's she doing at the top of the stairs? And then she knocks. And then she doesn't have a face mask on. I was so pissed. It's like, I do this all the time. The instructions are not hard to find. How can you not follow basic instructions? It pisses me off.
She won't be door dashing very long.
No, I reported her for not wearing a mask, for not following instructions, I give her a 1-star rating. Like, anybody who just follows instructions, I'll give them a 5-star rating. But it's like, I have so many people that, like, don't follow instructions and ring the doorbell or knock on the door and, like, it's like, just read. When I'm delivering, I would rather leave it at somebody's door than hand it to them. I'd rather just walk up, set it somewhere, take a picture really quick, and leave. That's hella easy. I don't get it.
Yep.
If you guys want a DoorDash, though, hit me up. I'll send you a referral link. That'll get you like a bonus if you guys are interested in doing it.
And what's up, Zane? We were just talking about you earlier.
Whoa, who the hell is Destro? I vaguely remember a guy named Destro, but
yeah.
It's been a minute.
What's up, Eric Olson? How you doing, man?
Erickson, man, why you guys gotta come in like at 11:40? Why you guys come in at 9 or 9:30?
Maybe they're working or something. Maybe. Well, I know Destro wasn't.
Yeah. Giving me pizza, bro. You're making me hungry. I want pizza now. Studying for nerds.
No, it's not.
Come be a jock with me and the hoops jock. Talk sports. No, just kidding. Good luck in your exams. Don't fail. Beavis, I don't know what the hell you're talking about. That is not an option on DoorDash. Who was it that said... I was rewatching a stream. Just an old stream. I was rewatching part of it, and I forget who it was, but like somebody said that their grade was like tanking because they stayed up watching our post-game streams late. And they like weren't getting any sleep.
That might have been Destro.
It might have been Destro, man. Sounds like he has his priorities backwards now, though. You know I was gonna say priorities straight. No. Now he's not watching us and he's doing well in school. Man. Did you just post your address on the chat? Why? What?
I'm assuming that's B-Dub's address, maybe.
I think it might be, actually. Yeah, it is. I could tell by that address. I've always done exceptional on school. That sentence makes me feel like that's a lie.
I don't know, Destro. I heard last week you got a C on a test or something.
I've always done exceptional on school.
Hey, what's up, Marco?
You guys are making me hungry, man, but it's 11:45. I can't even make it to Wendy's in time. I gotta record 2 more draft profiles with Eric after this. But all the OGs are joining now. We could, I don't know. What do you say about recording the draft profiles tomorrow?
I don't care. Sure.
Let's do it tomorrow.
All right.
Let's do it tomorrow. It's getting late. But here's the thing. is every time I'm like about to wind down this stream, somebody will come in where it's like, yo, Marco, yo, Destrom's in here for once. And then I don't want to stop.
Mm-hmm.
You know? Shoot, man. I miss the OGs. I miss how streams used to be. You know, it's just such a dead period right now. I don't know. It makes me miss like the normal season in the post game. Dude, I miss the post game streams we had in December and January. Like that time period was amazing. It was so much fun. Shervins, I don't hate you for the bet. I hate you for for saying DK 10 times a stream in chat.
I've played Call of Duty with Marco a couple times now.
Did you?
Seems like a pretty cool guy.
That's good. That's dope. I want to meet. I want to have more people recognize me in public and say, "Yo, you're the Blazers Uprise guy," and then I can feel famous. You know. You don't get that feeling through like Call of Duty. You know, I'm trying to feel like I made it, so I can tell my mom I made it.
Trevin asks, "What's B Dubs?" Buffalo Wild Wings, man.
Come on, man.
Who doesn't know B Dubs? Have you never eaten there?
No, if only we could.
I love B Dubs.
If only we could get Cap'n and Dame Dalla in here.
They got those that like $10 deal right now.
What is it?
B Dubs. It's like 10 wings and fries for $10 or something.
It's solid. Might have to order that on Sunday. Is it boneless wings? Because I don't do bone in.
You can do either.
Yeah, we do boneless. Bro, we need the whole crew in here at one time, though. The crew being Destrom, Javo, AM Productions, Dame Dalla, and Captain Cap'n, who's their leader.
I was surprised to see Cap'n on Twitter the other day.
I know.
Yes, was that yesterday?
Mm-hmm. Trevin would potentially be part of the group, but he is now mod crew, so he and Westbrick are like brothers now. They're our sons, basically. They help us run it.
See, Westbrick, I just have fun chilling with you guys. I'm not looking for you guys to be like, oh, I'm playing with Eric. Like, I don't care.
If you guys played with me, I'd want you guys to be like that. Travioli's married, so he's part of like the older demographic. The older being like over 18.
People's move.
He is with JW, and Clays isn't banned, man. Clays isn't banned from the channel. Clays can come back and watch us anytime he wants. I just banned him from the Discord. That's it. I just banned him from the Discord.
It was pretty much like banning him from the channel.
Man, as if he literally, like, every week was like, man, so-and-so is making me think about just leaving this Discord. And, like, I can't, like, he just complained constantly about the Discord. So it was like, and then he was like, I don't know, it's just so much negative. That's the one thing. It's like, he was chill, and I liked him when he was chill. But, like, he just got he was just negative a lot of the time. Just got too negative. And it was just, I don't know, on Discord. On channel, he's a ton of fun. On Discord, it was just, like, negative. Just super negative. I don't know. That's me defending that decision. I'm not even trying to like go after him. It's just like he threatened to leave multiple times, so that I did him a favor. But Eric's heart is still broken. And
Leo is someone we forgot when you were mentioning people.
Oh, Leo's a part of that group, yeah.
Yeah.
But
Trevin's
vouching for me.
Leo can confirm that I am definitely not People's Mix burner. Or that's not one of my burners. Thank you.
People's Mix is the most infamous person in chat.
And for the record, I have never had a burner or thought about doing a burner. That's so dumb to me.
Yes, yeah. People's Mix does YouTube.
Right, yeah. Yeah.
So, Mr. Danny Green shut down my first channel that had 20,000 subs.
It was like 100,000.
Oh, God, man. Ash? Yeah, he just doesn't watch our streams anymore. But he is supposed to write for us once we get this website up. Speaking of that, Eric, I need you to send me your articles because Hack wants them. So, like, just post them in OneDrive because Hack wants to put them up before the site is actually live, I guess. So. But.
Do you need me to send the one again?
What'd you say?
Do you need me to send the first one again?
Just send the file. Just send the file in the cloud.
Okay.
Just put the file there, and that way I can easily just send them the file. I don't know if text files will send, and it's like buried.
Okay.
But yeah, I remember when Hamza watched. Hamza, good old Hamza, man. That's the thing. We need to get all OGs back in one place. I need to make a list and then do roll call. For the draft stream, we'll have a lot of people in here, which we'll do that on this channel probably. Or we might do it on NBA Uprise if it's popping. But you guys could obviously go over there. By the way, if you haven't subscribed to NBA Uprise, that's where we're going to be posting our draft profiles. I'm grinding a lot of stuff for this week so I can get ahead, but we're almost at 100, so that's where all our draft profiles are going to be. They honestly should be pretty good videos, I think, too. I'll show you guys the graphics that I have for almost sneak peek. Let me go to let me find them. Let me go to file folder. This will load. Computer's glitching. Okay, this is like a preview of like the graphics that I have for it. So they'll be like animated and whatnot. So like the text will come in. But yeah. So like I'll have an intro where I like go over player information and whatnot, and then me and Eric will have a segment where we talk back and forth about the player. The first 5 we've recorded, we've all agreed on. It's been we've recorded Anthony Edwards, James Wiseman, Obi Toppin, Okongwu, and LaMelo Ball. And me and Eric are in pretty good agreement. I can't wait till we get to like Kira Lewis, Jamius Ramsey, Sadiq Bey even a little bit. Because we'll actually like be able to argue.
Naismith.
Naismith won't be much of an argument. Me, it's just like it's not enough sample size for me to like be as high on him as you are. But yeah, no, I'm excited for this, and I think the graphics look good. And then if you haven't seen our graphic, I could actually change it to that. One sec. I wonder if stream goes down when I change it like this. Maxi will be good. But this is what like our we'll have the player. Wait, right here we'll have like the player highlights and whatnot. So this is just a little sneak peek for you guys. That's what our graphics look like for it. So I'm actually pretty happy with what we've done for it. Let me switch back. we could maybe use this next year on like post game streams for like I don't know. I'm gonna try and like obviously switch up the graph. It wouldn't be a draft profile, but maybe for like if there's like a player interview or something, if I can have you on a second monitor. I don't know. Like I'm gonna try and get creative like that because it'd be cool to have like a player interview here, or maybe even like something graphically or just something. So I'm gonna try next season to like do more with the post game streams. just spitballing here, but I kind of like these small little windows though. I like it like that. All right, I'm gonna switch back. I don't know if it freezes when I switch between like, because I have different presets on here for streaming, so I don't know if it freezes or whatnot, but. We'll get to Sadiq. I forgot it said where your big board rank was. So spoiled that a little bit, but oh well. You guys will hear our debate and our reasoning for it. I think that was honestly our best recording, is the one we had on LaMelo. I don't know, but I feel like that after every recording, so I'm not sure.
I think I got pretty good.
Which one do you think has been our best recording of the 5?
I think they've all been good. But yeah, Melo's was good.
Yeah, I think it's LaMelo's. Yeah. But it'll be interesting to watch him back. Like, you know what's cool about these is being able to watch him back like 3 years from now, 4 years from now, once we know like who's good from the draft and who isn't. And being like, bro, we thought LaMelo was going to suck. He's averaging a 30-point triple-double right now on 50, 40, 90.
It does kind of suck that we're doing this like over a month before the draft because so much could change between now and then. Some people are going to look at that if like, I don't see LaMelo really changing that much, but like there could be some players that fall or rise a lot, and like we had them rated 30th or something, and they got drafted 16th and are really good. Or
well, I think like at the end we should put like our final big board and like how it's changed, like
yeah.
From
Oh,
you know
yeah.
what I mean? Cause
and then we could be like, okay, we said this 12th in the video, but I changed it to LaMelo's now ranked 38th in my board.
I have LaMelo going undrafted.
I would take him
up there.
I would take him the first 6 picks in the second round.
Oh man. Kalitzakis is definitely above him. Has he been getting any mock draft love? Did he fall out of the? Did he like remove his name? I don't know. I need to look up my guy. That's my guy.
Can they still go back?
I don't think so. He ain't getting enough love, man.
Tori loves him, so Georgios.
He just ain't getting enough love. Let me. Zakis.
Yeah, Shervin in this draft, they're probably definitely both second rounders.
Who's the second rounder?
Yes, if we have second round grades from Miles Powell and Marcus Howard.
Yeah, they'll both be second rounders. The RookieWire.USA today has Georgios Kalitzakis as the 73rd best player on their big board. Below Yamadar, Marko Simonovic, Anthony Lamb. Bro, I'm telling you, why is he being slept on so much? Isaiah
Jason, it depends on who's still on the board. He asked if LaMelo fell to 16th, would you draft him if you're the Blazers?
Not if Anthony Edwards was there too. What a draft that would be. Bro, there's some guys that are like near the top 60 in this draft board that I've never heard of. Nathan Knight from William and Mary. Saban Lee I've heard of. I've heard of this guy. Justinian Jessup.
Jason, you just saw that I have him ranked 12th, so if there's 11 guys that I have ranked higher than him, so if there's one of those 11 guys on the board, I would take them over LaMelo.
Yep. They have Sam Merrill.
And out of 12 guys, there's a chance one of those 12 is still on the board. So,
bro, okay, I'm triggered. This sucks. This article sucks. Look at who they have 47 and 48. Actually, let's look. Just out of curiosity, screw it. Okay, garbage. Should have known this was garbage just by number 1. Killian Hayes, number 2. Not that high on him. Anthony Edwards, number 3. Okongwu, number 4. Wiseman, number
Wait.
5.
You're not high on Killian Hayes anymore?
I'm not. I don't think he's the second best player in this. I don't think he's better than Edwards and Wiseman and Okongwu. Like, I wouldn't have him number 2. I have him number 6. Halliburton, Poku at 7. I actually respect having him that high. Akaru at 8. Topping at 9, way too low. Vassell at 10, way too high. Kira Lewis, 11, respectable. I'm just looking for, like, interesting. Desmond Bain at 15. Dude, the hype around him has really risen the past 2 weeks.
Whoa. We're taking Cassius Stanley at 16?
This is a big board. This is a big board.
Oh, okay.
Still, like, what?
That's the highest I've ever seen him ranked.
Yeah, I don't get that. RJ Hampton 17. Malachi Flynn at 18. It's interesting. Grant Willer at 20.
Hey, Destrom will like that.
Bro, where's Nesmith? Where the hell is Nesmith?
Patrick Williams, 22.
Mason Jones, 23. Where's Nesmith? He hasn't put Nesmith on here yet, Eric. Oh, there he is. Below Mason Jones.
Whoa.
Mason Jones is actually a decent sleeper. But Nesmith that low? Okay, I'm not... below Riller and Malachi Flynn? There has to be somebody else that's missing. Where's Precious? Jalen Smith, Paul Reed, Precious, 27.
They have Paul Reed ahead of Precious. Thanks.
Yeah, I don't get it. Maxey at 32. I'm
Where's
Maxey, but...
Where's Mannion?
Isaiah Stewart, that's way too low.
Jake's going crazy.
Bro, Isaiah Stewart's way too low at 34. Isaiah Stewart is definitely top 20. Jalen Harris? Who? Do you know who Jalen Harris is?
I've never seen him that high on any draft boards, but yeah, I know who he is.
He's above Malakon at 38. Mannion 39. Yolich. Vernon Carey. Where is McDaniels? Manuel quickly. Deani. Where the where is Jalen?
Destrom hasn't seen his boy Tillman yet either.
No, Tillman was like 24.
Oh, was he?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Did I skip over McDaniels?
Control F that.
Bro, what? He has McDaniels.
Oh, wait, they're
54th?
What does he say? Consensus late first, but you...
When watching him play in practice, scouts have believed that Jaden McDaniels is one of the most talented players they've ever seen. But when he actually played on the big stage in the NCAA, he struggled with offensive efficiency and turnovers on defense and committed far too many fouls. Or turnovers on offense and committed far too many fouls on defense. Okay, but why do you have him so low, bro? Like, okay, he struggled in games, but he's very, very talented. Then why the hell is he 54?
I don't like him that much, but he's definitely a first round pick.
Yeah.
Can you imagine if we got McDaniels at 46?
Oh, dude, I'd be hyped. I'd love that, man. Like, to get somebody with that upside at 46, yeah. NBA draft big board. What am I doing? NBA draft big board.
It'd be cool if we got ours to come up, like, like eventually, you know.
What'd you say?
Like, it'd be cool if eventually we got ours to come up when someone types that. Like, if someone else was looking at.
Oh, no. Have an empire. Okay. Out of curiosity, this is actually fun to go to. We should have done this before. Oh wait, no, that's just a comparison. Sporting news.
You're clearly...
Shut up, Ad. People were low on Jaden McDaniels. Let's go from the start. They have Obi Toppin number 1. I can respect that. This is sporting news. I can respect Obi Toppin number 1. Anthony Edwards number 2. Wiseman number 3. I can respect the top 3 right there. LaMelo Ball number 4. Sadiq Bey number 5.
Ooh.
You're feeling this, big board. Did you write this, bro?
No. I have Sadiq 6, so.
You have the sell too damn high. He is so overrated. Holy. Akaro at 9. Halliburton. Nesmith at 11. Patrick Williams at 12 is too high. This isn't as outrageous. Except for this. What's bruh? Last one had him at number 2. This one has him at number 15. That was not as fun to go through. I love going through the outrageous ones and just being like, what?
Shervin, right now, I think he's Precious is kind of like a Montrezl Harrell type.
Yeah, Precious is interesting. I feel like Precious could be that guy that's just like good defensively, good all-around offensive player, develops into that, and I don't know. I feel like Precious will definitely be a role player.
Shervin, I am very interested in the NFL draft, but no, it's so much harder to know like what offensive linemen are good or how they'll translate to the NFL and stuff like that.
NFL draft is a different beast, man. What do you think of Isaiah Stewart? I think he is underrated. I think he will be a good like sixth man type big. Honestly, like he does remind me a bit of Montrezl Harrell too. But I think Isaiah Stewart actually has some shooting potential that other people don't see in him. Let me look up statistically. Isaiah Stewart's stats.
Yeah, Penny Sewell's going to be a top 5 pick for sure. Yeah.
Who is?
Penny Sewell in the NFL.
Yeah. I mean, Isaiah Stewart shot a 3 every 2 games. He only made 25% of them, but he did shoot 77% from the free throw line. So you have to wonder if he's going to be able to, like, you know, that's a pretty good clip from the free throw line for a big. If he can end up being a guy that can knock down threes, like, I could see him being a very impactful player. I don't know. He's an interesting case. But yeah, it definitely has an NBA body. And can defend and rebound at least.
One of the games I watched when I was scouting him was the last Arizona-Washington game, and I thought he was the best player on the court in that game.
Yeah,
I like him better than the 3 Arizona guys and Jaden McDaniels, but
he has a higher floor than all those guys. I feel like he has a pretty high floor for where he's being projected, and then if he can develop a 3-point shot and just develop skill wise more, like he has an NBA ready body, he's decently athletic.
Well, he's in that same group as like Xavier Tillman and the players who are like they're like centers, but they're not tall centers, even though they have a decent wingspan. Mm-hmm. They always get downgraded in the draft for some reason, but and people say like, "Oh, modern NBA, those type of players are a dinosaur now." But like, I still feel like you can find uses for him.
Yeah, I feel like Isaiah Stewart will definitely at some point be like a first pick off the bench. I mean, you look at what Montrezl Harrell does. I mean, Isaiah Stewart plays with a lot of energy. I like his energy. I like his hustle. I like his defense. I like his rebounding. Can he just be effective offensively like Montrezl Harrell is? That's kind of a question with him. But to get a guy like that in a weak draft in the teens, I wouldn't be mad if the Blazers drafted him, honestly. I'd be fine with Stewart at 16. I wouldn't hate it. As long as like there's guys I have above him on my big board, but I wouldn't be like mad if they took Stewart over them, if that makes sense. Let me look at my big board. So like I have a guy like I have Poku above him, I have Ramsey above him, I have Akaro above him, I have McDaniels above him, I have Nesmith above him, I have Sadiq Bey above him, but like if they took Stewart over any of those guys, I wouldn't really be that mad. they took like Stewart over like Avdia, I'd have a problem with that. If they took Stewart over like Halliburton, I'd have a problem with that. But like, it's kind of like tiered, if that makes sense.
I want to go to bed.
Okay. Did you brush your teeth already?
No, we skip.
Yeah.
But I feel like the players like 10 through.
Huh? What about medicine?
Okay, hold on.
I feel like the players 10 through 20 are pretty interchangeable in terms of like, there's not like a big gap between the players like 10th through 20th. So that's why it's like, if we took like a Precious at 16, I wouldn't be that mad. I wouldn't be upset. If we took like a Maxey at 16, I wouldn't be upset. If we took a Isaiah Stewart, I wouldn't be upset. If we took like Elijah Hughes at 16, I'd honestly be like, oh, maybe we could have traded down, but I'm high on Elijah Hughes. Me and Trevor.
Stewart, that kind of reminds me of the Swanigan pick if we picked him at 16 a little bit. Not saying he's like Swanigan, it's just like that type of use of our pick is like someone that's never gonna have a super high ceiling.
I think Stewart has. If Stewart can shoot threes, man, I don't know. Like you look at Montrezl Harrell when he came into the league, and he wasn't looked at as a guy that has a super high ceiling or anything. And that's why he was a second round pick. But offensively, like didn't he win Sixth Man of the Year this year?
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Like he's
Clippers are winning all the awards.
But not the real thing. But yeah, that's the thing. Like, I feel like his ceiling is higher than people give it credit for. So I don't know.
We can talk about it when we get to.
He's not like Poku's ceiling. He's not like a. I don't think he has like a Jamius Ramsey type ceiling or a Jaden McDaniels type ceiling. But I think like he's in the tier, like ceiling wise, I think he's in a pretty comparable position to like a, which you're gonna disagree with this, but a Sadiq Bey, an Aaron Nesmith, a Tyrese Maxey, a Precious Achua. I think he's in that tier ceiling wise. I know a lot of people have him lower. I'm high on Stewart. I don't think he'll be like some amazing player, but I'm not gonna rule it out. Because anybody with that the motor he has and the strength he has, and the decent agility and athleticism at that size, like I feel like they can be very effective, even if they're not that skilled. I mean, you just look at Harrell. So. Anyway, should probably wrap up this stream soon.
Yeah, I gotta go.
You gotta do parenting duty.
Yep.
But yeah, thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for coming in and tuning in at the end. I would love to hang out with you guys earlier on a stream. I won't be able to go this long on Monday, but I'd like to, talk basketball and take your guys' questions and whatnot at 9 p.m. on Monday. That's when we'll be live next. So, if you guys could tune in then, yeah, I'd love to have you. That sounds kind of weird, but, yeah, other than that, draft profiles, be on the lookout this weekend. I'm going to grind that. And me and Eric will record a couple more tomorrow, probably. And, yeah, we're going to get grinded on that. So you should be able to expect pretty consistent uploads over on NBA Uprise. Make sure you go subscribe there. Let's see if we hit 100. We hit 100.
We did. Yep.
Cool. Sick.
Marco said he was number 100.
Nice, Marco. You're special. But yeah, so I don't know. There's really nothing left to plug, so I'll just catch you guys later. Hope you guys have a good rest of your night. Hope you guys have a good weekend as well. I'll catch you guys on Monday. And until then, hit you with the classic. Peace out. Go Blazers.